issues with chemicals, it sounds like that may be less of a possibility. So that's great. A westbound 64, you're a solid jam from Science Center all the way out to Hanley. The two left lanes now are blocked by that crash at Hanley. Eastbound's a little backed up in the area. If you're on westbound 64 out in St. Charles County, it's bumper to bumper 364 to 70. Westbound Highway 70. There's some slow traffic at K, Lake St. Louis out through Highway Z, Wentzville Parkway area. If you're on southbound 55, we have that crash at Loughborough. It's a solid jam back through Gasconade. Still backed up midway down from M to Highway Z, pretty solid. And westbound 64 has that jam reader through 158. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest from the world of sports. This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, it's Friday on Rush Hour Sports here on KMOX. That means it is the trio. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here on a Friday. Going to be a busy. We were just talking about it off the air, Bern. You weren't in on it, but we'll let you in on it. What another great weekend we've got. Starting tonight with playoff baseball. Tomorrow, great college football and more playoff baseball. So 2 elimination games, full day of football on Sunday. Chiefs and Lions Sunday night. This is going to be a great couple days.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I'm all set up, trying to figure out how I'm going to get enough monitors to look at. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to the Cubs Brewers game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Because if that would be brutal if the Brewers spit this one up, because the narrative will kick in again.
Oh yeah.
See, these little small market teams, they can't get it done in the postseason. I didn't think the Phillies got it done in the postseason. I must have missed that. So,
neither did the Yankees.
But I mean,
I know, right?
To that narrative, it's been a pretty long time since the Brewers have won a playoff series.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you go have the
Seattle too, and they have that on the line tonight.
If you have the season that the Brewers just had, where you have guaranteed yourself home field and you have 97 wins, losing in the divisional round isn't a great look, especially when you were up 2-0 in the series. And I mean,
absolutely.
I just love the Craig Counsell part of this is awesome. The fact that the two cities are separated by an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Really, when you get to the furthest south part of like the Milwaukee land area and the northest part of Chicago, we're talking like 15, 20 minutes.
That's where I lived, man.
Yeah.
I lived right on that border. Yeah.
So it is, man, this is fun. I'm like, with all due, like tomorrow's a great day. You can watch Missouri, Illinois at 11. They're both kicking off at 11. Blues get started at 3. And then this Brewers Cubs game at 7:00. That is my sports schedule for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And, look, we're going to do mostly, I think a lot of college football is going to be kind of the bulk of things today with these big games. And there's 3 huge games tomorrow early. Obviously, Illinois and Mizzou with big games, but Indiana and Oregon is going to be a showcase as well. But since we started a little on baseball, let's just finish some baseball things and related to the playoffs, because we got elimination game tonight and an elimination game tomorrow. So we got great stuff there. But there's been a buzz of I guess just the easiest way to put it, like there's been a lot of narratives flying around like, oh, see, Toronto's a team that puts the ball in play, and that's why they're having success in the playoffs. And then I saw a little bit of research put out there earlier today, which pointed out that the team that strikes out less has won 43% of recent playoff games and series. But the teams that hit the most homers win 75%.
That's right. That's right.
So while it may have been true that the Blue Jays and their style of play did the Yankees in, that does not mean that style of play is the dominant postseason success pattern.
Well, not to go super nerdy on you, this is why when you do scientific experiments, you have the control group and then you have one thing that is different. Because we can look at all these things about not striking out, this, that, and the other, but in reality, it's the power. Sorry to cut you off, Bernie.
No, not at all, man. I do that all the time. I'm an ignoramus, so some of that should come.
Hey, that could be the name of the show, The 3 Ignoramuses.
No, listen, this is so funny. This subject came up, and like I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know what I saw because I was looking at Fangraphs. You have, everyone is obsessed this romantic notion of small ball, right? And I'm tired of these home runs. I'm tired of this law triangle. I'm tired of this stuff, Okay. So this town in particular, but it's true of baseball everywhere. Just like everybody loves a small ball. Put the ball in play. Put the ball in play. Put the ball in play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Cardinals had one of the best contact rates in the major leagues this year. They did.
Yeah.
In fact, I broke out a list to see where they were compared to teams that made the playoffs. If the Cardinals had done a couple of other things, putting the ball in play and contact rate was not an issue. Putting strikes in play was not an issue. They were good at it.
Yep.
Now, I would guarantee 98% of their fans would say, there's no way that's true. No, it's true. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
What did the Cardinals not do offensively?
They didn't hit home runs.
Yeah. And I don't understand the allergic reaction people have, just to the point. Listen, let me quit picking on fans. Just let's limit it to media people like us.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why are the people obsessed with this, and they're going to be the one to prove that home runs don't matter or something? I mean, what is the deal?
I don't know, man. I think a lot of it is, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I think there are a lot of people, because the post that I saw was a reply to a Yankees podcast where they were saying that the Yankees need to learn from the Blue Jays and Brewers approach, which, okay, again, there's a benefit to having guys in your lineup that don't strike out too much, that put the ball in play. But again, 76% of the teams that have out-homered their opponents have won the playoff series in the last 5 years. That's pretty clear, and it's a pretty big advantage. And I don't know what the argument is against that. And I mean, like, the Yankees flamed out in part because they didn't have Garrett Cole. How much does Garrett Cole change a playoff series if he's starting game one and he's peak healthy Garrett Cole? Like, they had their flaws, but also Blue Jays are also just hot. And sometimes we mistake what is hot for what is meaningful in a bigger picture.
Right.
And by the way, the Blue Jays hit a buttload of home runs in the series. Don't forget that.
And it's not that the other stuff doesn't matter. It's that it doesn't matter as much. Like, some people are going to hear us and say, oh, well, you're saying that being able to make contact doesn't matter. No, it matters. It helps. Like, there is value in that. But if you got a $5 bill and a $1 bill, you're going to be able to buy stuff with the $5 bill that you can't buy with the $1 bill. That doesn't mean they both don't get you something.
Good point.
So it still matters a little bit.
I just found this, so the Cardinals this year, they were in the top half for lowest strikeout rate. They were like the 11th lowest, 11th lowest out of 30 teams. So even though Walker and Gorman strike out a lot, as a team in its whole, they don't strike out a lot relative to the league average. They don't. They're an above average team at avoiding strikeouts. Okay, I just looked at the stuff I looked at earlier today. The Cardinals this season had the sixth highest contact rate in the major league, sixth highest, and their contact rate, gosh, I can't talk today. It's been a long day. The Cardinals' contact rate on strikes, third best in the majors. So all the people that I want small ball, I don't like the launch angles, I want to see the ball in play. The Cardinals did that better than most teams in the major leagues this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't play Willie Keeler baseball in this age. Everybody gets to this romantic notion of these guys running around, Ty Cobb running around, no, you have to be able to hit home runs. And the other thing that drives me nuts about this, see, Wheeler, you got me going.
I did it on purpose.
It doesn't have to be one or the other.
No, it should be both.
So what? So why are people like this? Is almost like damn politics. Like you don't have to pay, you don't have to declare what your party is. What you want is you want to have a team that can hit for some power, but it's not all or nothing. A team that can hit for average, draw more walks. How about some walks? They're nice.
Yeah,
and have better, real good situational hitting. That's what the good offenses do. But this idea that I'm on team home run, or no, I'm on team on base percentage.
No,
I'm on team singles. But it's lunacy.
I've got a text to read that you guys are just going to love.
I love it.
You guys flip-flop so much. Back when we had Brandon Moss, you said you can't win by just hitting home runs. So, I wasn't in the market when Moss was around.
I never said that.
And I don't think either of you guys said that. No. So I'm not quite sure who the texter thinks that they're texting, but no flip-floppage. Now, I do I ever change my opinions on things? Sure. I get new information, and I think that's a good thing. People who don't change their opinions, I don't think are doing this job the right way. But no, I think our texter got this one wrong a little bit about us.
Yeah, I think the problem I had with Brandon Moss, and I'm trying to find this right now, and I will, is when in 2015 he got off to a really good start. See, you can't get anything by me, man. Don't hang a slider. Do not hang a slider when I'm around. Okay, just some advice, because especially since I can get online and check it out in like 30 seconds. So anyway, in 2015 he got off to a really good start, and the problem I had with him was it might have been 2016, and I apologize. Mm-hmm. He basically didn't hit at all in the final month of the season. That's and correct. Mike Matheny kept playing him every day. Correct. Every day. And I kept saying, well, he's not hitting home runs. He's not getting hits. He's not drawing walks. You can't win with the guy taking key at bats when nothing is happening with his offense. So I have no idea what the hell this guy's talking about.
Yeah, it was, if you broke it down, it was the end of the year, right? It was September. He was 9 for 91 in September.
I just saw it.
Yeah.
099.
Yeah.
099.
That doesn't play.
And he struck out 33% of the time.
Yeah. Definitely some nuance there.
What baseball observer with a brain would somehow find that passable? Or if you say he's not hitting, they got to get him out of here. You can't win like this. What part of that is false?
Nothing. It's all nails.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
All right, Mizzou, Alabama.
Don't mess
talk.
with me. Get that stuff out of here.
Bernie just hit that hanging slider.
I'm just kidding.
Mizzou, Bama, coming up next here on KMOX.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/try. QUO.com/try.
Do you like the word thorough? It's a good word, thorough. It means complete, accurate, detailed. Well, when you go to Ophthalmology Associates, you will get a thorough eye examination. The technology's incredible. It's all up to date, the very latest. And Doctors Bertie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer and their staff will make your visit very personal. That's because they believe every patient is unique. Ophthalmology Associates takes all the research and technology and their personal knowledge and expertise and tailor it into an eye care plan that is as unique as you are. Services include everything from expert treatment of cataracts and retinas to comprehensive eye exams for you and the kids, and a full-service optical shop with a ton of frames to choose from. Ophthalmology Associates, 3 St. Louis area locations. Visit youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we got jams due to a few crashes out there. They're still working this crash. Westbound 64 west of Hanley, the left lane still shut down. Westbound 64 is a solid jam at the Science Center. Eastbound Gawkers are backed up at McKnight. South 170 is slow at Ladue. We have an incident northbound 270 at 64. Looks like a crash there. North 270 is jammed at Manchester. We have crashes on southbound 55. The right lane was closed. It looks like it may be reopened now. Southbound 55 at Loughborough. Traffic's a solid jam back to Gasconade. And then we had a crash at Highway Z. Southbound 55 is jammed midway from M down to Z because of that one. 30 at Highway B, we have an injury crash. Westbound 64, we have that roadwork jam from Reeder Road through 158. Westbound 64 on the Missouri side, heavy from 364 to 70. 70's got slow stuff. TR Hughes Decay, Lake St. Louis out past 61, eastbound 70, midway from Wright City to Forestell slow. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Rush Hour Sports on a Friday. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler hanging out with you here, shifting to college football. And we're going to start with Mizzou, Alabama here. We'll get to Illinois, Ohio State, and probably Indiana, Oregon as well as we go through the rest of the time. And then whatever we have time for at the end is what we'll get to. We are not going to be overreacting to the opening loss by the Blues. It's game one. It's going to be okay. Everybody can just calm down.
I was just glancing at something online, and I'm not taking a shot at the writer, but it kind of reflects how we all overreact to stuff. And it's just like, here's how the Blues can recover quickly from the disastrous start.
Just play another game.
They've played 60 minutes of hockey.
Yeah,
right?
It'll be fine.
And they play up and Montgomery made the point that it looked good even being down 2-0. It wasn't until that third goal where it kind of I was watching. I thought they were up until 3-0. I thought they were going to come back at 2-0. I thought they had 2 goals left in them.
Yeah, it's okay. Everything will be just fine. All right, Alabama, Mizzou. One of the biggest games of the weekend. Number 8 against number 14. Mizzou's undefeated. Arguably the biggest home game for Mizzou in a long time. With playoff opportunity on the line. Alabama is not what they were, but they're still good. They're still very talented. They still have beaten ranked teams in the last couple of weeks. Bama's a 2.5-point favorite, and I think this is going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to this being close, and I can absolutely see, Bernie, you outlined it really well on DGS earlier. I can really see the path for Mizzou. I'm going to lean Bama because the big play scares me because they've played tougher competition to this point and gotten through at least a couple of those games with a win. They didn't get through Florida State. Florida State beat them. But I think Ty Simpson has just been a little more tested than Prebula, and that's kind of where I'm going with that one in a really close game.
Yeah, and well, we were talking about DGS, and just to point out something, I push back on some of the stuff about Prebula being, the lesser light or whatever. He is one of the most accurate passers in college football. In fact, his on-target rate on his throws is the best in college football. The thing of it is, the Mizzou offense, in terms of passing, though, they don't. This is the difference between them and Simpson and Alabama. The Mizzou passing game is very efficient, but it's all short stuff. It's get rid of it quick, let people run, make a play. Alabama's got a legitimate downfield passing attack. They will attack you 20 plus yards downfield or more. But Mizzou can offset that because Mizzou's got a top, their pressure rate, according to Sports Info Solutions, their pass pressure rate is the best in the country. And Alabama's pass blocking is not all that hot. So Mizzou even has, I don't trust the Mizzou secondary at all, okay? But Mizzou's pass rushers, those edge rushers are so good, they're going to be in Simpson's face a lot. And the other thing that's interesting about that, you'd be surprised where he ranks among power conference quarterbacks when he is pressured.
Yeah, not good.
I mean, his grade is like down in the 30s among 60. And Prebula handles pass rush pressure really well. So there's so much about this game that fascinates me, but a lot of the categories, Mizzou's got the check mark.
Yeah.
But I'm like you, Wheels. I also recognize a few things.
Mm-hmm.
They got to slay a giant, and they haven't done that.
That's a good point.
They got to slay a giant, right?
Yeah.
I read a column. I forget who wrote it. It was a national column where it was basically the point was with Missouri, there's always a yeah, but. And this is the chance to get rid of the yeah, but.
Good point. Yeah, because if they win this one, I don't think there's no question about the legitimacy of. And there's nothing. They're good. They're a really high-end program. And we all see that. And to me, it's not a prove it game, but I would agree from the national view, it's that.
Yeah, it's finally the chance to say, hey, Mizzou's got 10 wins and this, to get that to go away.
Right.
I kind of feel
that was Matt Hayes, by the way. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love Matt. He's great.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like this is going to play out a little bit like the Kansas game where Alabama's going to jump out, get out to an early lead. Missouri's going to come back, and then it's going to come down the stretch, and we're going to see who's got the plays to make in the fourth quarter.
Well, the thing about Mizzou is they've got a clear path to any victory over anyone, as long as they continue to kick ass in the running game.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a truly formidable running game. And the Alabama defense, according to Pro Football Focus, they rank 116th nationally by giving up an average of 5.3 yards per run. They're 109th Alabama in preventing explosive runs. And also the front seven of the Alabama defense is banged up. They're going to have a couple guys out, a couple other ones playing hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You get this Mizzou offensive line, which is a terrific run blocking line. It's like number 7 in the country. And you put that in front of Hardy and you put that in front of Roberts. I don't see a blockade that Alabama can put up to shut him down. He's just too good. And every number you want to look at bears that out.
Absolutely. Actually, that's game 1. Now we're going to get to Ohio State, Illinois, and obviously Indiana, Oregon. It's a great college football weekend. And then whatever we have time for at the end, maybe we got time for some Chiefs. We'll see. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the number 1 team in the country coming into Illinois after the break here on KMOX.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, we are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It's a great reminder to take care of yourself. I think people are so busy throughout the year taking care of everybody else. Seeing all the pink around in October is a really excellent time to take a step back and make sure that you are here to continue taking care of everybody else for a very long time.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
At 5:30 right now, it's a cloudy sky, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. This news update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
KMOX is covering breaking news.
A train has derailed in a South County residential neighborhood. KMOX's Sean Malone has just arrived on the scene.
But the railroad crossing right outside of St. Louis Ornamental Stone in South County, a couple of rail cars on a train have tipped and fallen over right now. We don't have too many details from officials, but I did have a chance to speak to Tristan Axis, who lives nearby and was walking home with his noise-canceling headphones on and heard the crash.
All of a sudden, I hear like a huge crash for like a good 10 seconds. I'm like, what was that? And I heard like the train tracks, like the bells down there, and I was like, did the train derail?
In South County, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Fox 2's Mark Zinn is also on the scene. And Mark, is there any indication of what the rail cars were carrying?
From what I've seen, of the two cars that I saw that were derailed, one looked to be some sort of industrial, maybe carrying wood or something like that. But there are several tanker cars that are also off the tracks as well. No word on if any of those things are leaking right now, but police and fire crews are slowly evacuating the area right now.
Yeah, what are those first responders, police, fire doing? What are they up to there?
Yeah, I haven't been able to see what they're doing exactly, but they just launched a drone. So now there's a couple of drones in the air, I guess, looking over the tracks themselves. But this is a pretty frequently used railroad track, too, and the actual railroad is backed up all the way, several blocks down, too. Well, it looked like those cars were on the tracks, but now reports are that there are at least several cars off the tracks right now in Afton.
Fox 2's Mark Zinn, KMOX's Sean Malone, both on the scene of this train derailment in Afton, and some evacuations shelter in place happening around the area of Weber and New Hampshire. That is just north of Gravois and just to the west of Mackenzie. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this. Roger Brand is checking on the traffic impacts, so we'll have all the information for you as we go through the evening. The mass firing of federal workers has begun.
The Trump administration has started the mass firing of federal workers as the government shutdown continues. It's a sharp shift from past shutdowns when federal workers who were furloughed went back to their jobs when the government reopened. But the administration's been threatening permanent layoffs to pressure Democrats into ending the shutdown.
The president takes no pleasure in this.
But just 4 days after House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke, the president said this week Democrats essentially gave him a gift with the shutdown, allowing him to remake the federal workforce through job and program cuts.
If this keeps going on, it'll be substantial, and a lot of those jobs will never come back.
Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says the president and budget chief Russ Vought don't have to do this. They want to. The American Federation of Government Employees is suing the administration over the layoffs. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Your brain needs you to relax. Dr. Nigel Lester, psychiatrist with Palm Health, says relaxing your brain makes it more effective and more creative. He says relaxing is alert restfulness, like a bridge between sleep and action.
If when you try to relax, you fall asleep, it means you're not getting enough sleep. If when you try to relax, you're on your phone checking emails or scrolling the news, it means that you have lost the ability to relax.
But Lester says in times of crisis, relaxation is a necessity for the brain to function optimally. It's when it integrates memories and emotions and making sense of all the input that's been coming at you. Examples of relaxing your brain that he gives: staring out the window or daydreaming. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center for tonight, some clouds, low 58. For Saturday, sunshine and a high of 81, 84 for Sunday. Right now, it is 72 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Hey, Bernie Miklasz here on behalf of Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer. They have been taking care of other families, and I'm talking about St. Louis families, and I'm talking about the Saliga family, continuously serving St. Louis since 1927. And I can tell you a lot about them because we've been calling them for help with heating and air and some other things for 17 years. And I can testify with pride about Saliga Heating and Cooling and how great they really are. 100% honesty, integrity. There's no hustle. There's no upsell. There's no trying to talk you into something expensive because they think you're naive or something like that. Not at all. They'll treat you with maximum respect because they want your business. They want you to keep coming back to them. They want you to trust them. So they're going to do everything they can to prove it to you every single time, how trustworthy and smart they are. And I just love that. And I love family businesses because I come from a family that had a business. So Saliga will service all makes and models for you. They can handle your heating and cooling needs for home or business. I would recommend that you check out the Priority Club. It's a maintenance plan that will save you money by extending the life of your current equipment, give you the peace of mind everything's working great. You'll also receive priority scheduling and some other perks with that. Family owned and operated for nearly 100 years, Saliga offers free estimates and financing options and still has the best and most trustworthy customer service in St. Louis. To find out more, go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free, no interest for 3 whole years. Restrictions apply. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, Rush Hour Sports on a Friday, heading into an awesome weekend. Elimination baseball game tonight in Seattle. Elimination baseball game tomorrow night in Milwaukee, and a lot of great college football. Then that's not even counting Sunday, where you got a really good NFL slate. So we're going to be having a great weekend. We're continuing with the college football side of things here, guys. As much as we went back and forth a little on the Bama-Missouri game, I think we all seem to agree that it's a good, close, competitive game and kind of could go either way. I definitely don't feel that way about Ohio State, Illinois. No knock on Illinois. I think Bielema's doing a really great job there, but Ohio State's just really good, and they do everything. I think they do everything a little better than Illinois does it, and I think they probably win pretty big.
They have a great defense. They don't have nearly as many holes as the Illinois defense. And the other thing I was talking about on Dave Glover, because it's an analysis I read at Pro Football Focus, which is Illinois has a great strength defensively. They're one of the best blitzing teams, most effective blitzing teams in college football. They use that to great effect. They rattle quarterbacks all the time. The problem with Ohio State is that their young quarterback, at least so far, doesn't mean it'll happen again tomorrow. Julian's saying he has been superb against the blitz this year. He's just carved it up. So I don't see much of a pathway unless Ohio State gets real sloppy with the football, leaves it on the field. The kid throws some bad interceptions. I don't know. I just and Altmaier is just gonna have to play the game of his life. He can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. All right, real quick check of traffic. We'll see what's going on here on a Friday evening in and around downtown St. Louis, and we'll get right back to our college football talk here on Rush Hour Sports.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, around that train derailment in Afton, we do have some backed up traffic. The worst of it is northbound Tesson Ferry approaching Gravois, and eastbound Gravois from Tesson Ferry, Rock Hill, in through McKenzie is just pretty much at a standstill right now. And again, the command post was set up around Weber in New Hampshire, so there may be some restrictions there, but that's the biggest jam is eastbound Gravois through the area right now. If you're on eastbound 64, you're backed up from 170 to Big Bend. South 170 is on the brakes between Ladue and the Parkway down to 64. They cleared that crash north 270 at 64, but it's still slow from Manchester up to that point. Westbound 70, heavy stuff, Cave Springs to 370. Some backed up traffic west of Lake St. Louis out through Wentzville Parkway. Westbound 64, Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70 is a solid jam. Southbound 55, a little backup at Bates. Northbound approaching Loughborough is a little bumper to bumper, and we still have this jam midway down from M through Highway Z. That's because of a crash there. Northbound 55 delays into 67, and a little bit of a backup still westbound 64 passing 158 due to road work. I'm Roger Brand in the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
All right, so Matt, any difference of opinion, any thoughts on the Ohio State-Illinois before we move on to the other one?
No, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for Illinois to get a huge win against the number one team in the nation. Like, that'd be fantastic.
Yep.
It would make me happy.
Plus, I hate Ohio State.
That's what I'm rooting for. But if I'm just being very blunt and honest about this, I don't think this is much of a game. And I don't know if, to Bernie's point, Illinois can't make a single mistake, and then Ohio State has to make a bunch of mistakes, and you almost have to hand the game to Illinois. That seems like the only path forward.
Yeah, and this is not a knock on Illinois to me anyway. I still like the way that Bielema's built the program. Just Ohio State
Bielema.
Is already where you're trying to get.
Right.
Right.
Illinois doesn't have to win this game to have a great season.
That's right. And listen, Altmaier is a key too, because he is phenomenal, his ability to make plays, and he's a tough, mentally and physically tough quarterback as there is. But I don't know. You got a top 10 defense on that Ohio State side with really no weaknesses. So it's that path to victory is just kind of tight.
All right. How about what might end up being the game of the week with Indiana and Oregon? So these are two top 10 teams. Indiana, of course, they're kind of their showcase win this year was their big blowout win against Illinois. Oregon had the big win at Penn State, but then Penn State followed that up, with a clunker at UCLA, and it kind of fell off the face of the earth. I really love what Tom Ackerman's Hoosiers have done. I really do. And I want this to be competitive. I think it should be, but Autzen Stadium's no joke. Oregon's no joke. Dante Moore is no joke. I don't have a really good case for an Indiana win. I'm just going to try to make the case that I hope it's going to be fun in the fourth quarter when we get to tomorrow evening.
That's how I feel too. It's another road test for Indiana against a super team, a contender. And we know that last year they fell short because when they, were not playing at home against Notre Dame and Ohio State last year, they were road games, and they just didn't look good. They got slapped around pretty good. And so I'm trying to figure out what would be different this time. I think Fernando Mendoza, their quarterback, is fantastic, and he will continue to pump life into that stadium on his side. And keep them in the game. But I just see Oregon kind of wearing them down late. And I don't think Indiana's going to get blown out. I think they can hang around and play, but ultimately that's a tough place to come out with a home field, with a visiting team, winning on that home field of Oregon's.
Yeah. We referred to the Missouri game as the yeah, but game. Well, this for Indiana, it's the same thing. This is Now I think it's a little bit different because Indiana's on the road. They're not expected to win. I mean, Oregon's a touchdown favorite in this game. The Mizzou-Alabama game is expected to be much closer. But if you're Indiana, and if you want to go about your scheduling philosophy, which is fine. Again, I'm a K-State guy. I watched Bill Snyder do this for years and years and years. So this is not a criticism of Indiana's scheduling, but it does present, it gives you no wiggle room. I guess a little bit more wiggle room now that we have the expanded playoff. But if you don't want to play anybody in your non-conference, well, then when you get the opportunities to play really good teams in conference play, go show something.
Yeah, I am going to rip that approach, by the way.
Okay.
It's not okay. If you want to call yourself a legit contender, it's not okay. If you just want to be, a better record and be in a better bowl game and all that, but then don't compare yourself to other people. I don't know. Maybe I'm an ass about that, but I want the big boys. If you want to be a big boy, play other big boys. Don't play Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State back to back to back with nothing better in there.
Yeah, you got to the blood donor games are standard part of college football, but there are other ways to play a tougher schedule and still have your blood donor games.
Yes.
You can have 2 of them instead of 3 of them.
Yes.
And, and some of this applies to Mizzou as well. That Mizzou's been really outstanding at home, not as good on the road. And, that's going to be a factor going forward, because after tomorrow, what is it? Is it 6? What is it? 5 of their last 7 games, or 4 of their last 6 games will be on the road, and in some tough spots as well. So,
yeah, I want to be clear in what I'm saying too. This is not a knock on the level of the programs. It's just that if you want to be called one of the big boys, you need to act like the big boys. So what Indiana didn't like last year was people criticizing them for the weakness of their schedule. You can fix that.
You can.
Right.
You can fix that and then go win your games. I'm not saying go play Alabama in your opener, but you could play someone from a Power 4 conference.
And that's what, the SEC with their rules, where you have to schedule another power conference opponent. We're going to see more of that moving forward.
Yeah. And in this format, when you've got this many spots to get in, that's not going to necessarily, it's not going to be what knocks you out. If you're a Big Ten or an SEC team and you go one loss, you're in. Most likely.
Yes.
2 losses, you're going to be in the conversation. But I don't want to hear the complaints about being looked at like one of the big boys if you're not doing what the big boys do.
That's exactly right.
Okay, good. I felt like I was going to be the jerk there for a minute.
No, I agree with you.
I'm a big fan of the anywhere, anyone, anywhere, anytime. You should always have somebody out there, because I also think it's good for your program. I think it's good for recruiting. I think it's good for visibility to be on national TV as often as you possibly can, and nobody's watching you play Kennesaw State. Nobody. Maybe Illinois. Maybe your fans will. Yeah, nobody else is. All right,
I'm gonna commandeer the program. For a second.
Go ahead, real quick.
We have a little bit of breaking news that I'll share. It's baseball related. Former Cardinal. We'll tell you about it. There's your tease.
Okay, some breaking news related to a former Cardinal coming from Matt Pauley when we come back here on Rush Hour Sports.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. And we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Big news, Golden Oak is now your one-stop shop with Golden Oak Premier Realty and Golden Oak Lending. Buy, sell, or refinance and save thousands.
Golden Oak Landing, join my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We've got a building jam on northbound 47 in Franklin County, and just north of Country Club Drive. We have an injury crash. Southbound, not quite as bad, but the northbound jam looks like it's over a mile long. That jam on northbound 55, I mentioned, approaching Loughborough, was debris in the left lane as you get north of River to Pear. Traffic's backed up to about Weber. Don't forget Weber, New Hampshire, restrictions there. Command post in place for the train derailment. And eastbound Gravois, that's the busiest stretch from Tesson Ferry into McKenzie. A solid jam still. If you're headed that way, just be prepared, or maybe restrictions on the side streets. Southbound 55, we still got this jam midway down from M to Z because of the crash we had at Highway Z. East and westbound 64 still heavy around the inner belt. They're still reporting, looks like a minor crash eastbound. South 170 jams at Brentwood. North 270 still slow north of Manchester up to 64 because of a recent crash. In the Westplex, eastbound 70 slow. David Hochul to Wentzville Parkway, westbound 70 west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard through Wentzville Parkway is busy, and 64 is bogged down at 364 westbound. Still a little bit of a delay westbound 64 on the Illinois side through 158. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Rush Hour Sports on a Friday. You got Matt Pauley, you got Bernie Miklasz, you got Kevin Wheeler, and Matt Pauley teased us with breaking news in the world of baseball. Let's get it, man. What do you got?
Yeah, this is courtesy of Sam Blum and Katie Wu from The Athletic. Albert Pujols last night met with Angels general manager Perry Minasian and also team owner Artie Moreno. The interview went well. They are now into contract negotiations. Nothing imminent at this point, but evidently the Angels would like to announce it before the World Series gets started. If Pujols has a last second, I don't want to do this, former Angels outfitter Torrey Hunter would be the fallback person at this point. One of the things they need to work through is how this impacts the personal services contract, because I think Pujols probably still wants to make his money off of that, not just that all of a sudden become part of it. So they got to figure out all that. Also, coaching staff discussions have over. This is how you know it's real, because they're already talking about coaching staffs. And Pujols wants to have a longtime Dodger starter Ramon Martinez as his pitching coach. So again, this is all according to The Athletic. Sam Blum, Katie Wu doing a great job on the reporting. But to me, this seems like barring the Angels just getting in their way somehow and not doing what they need to do, Albert Pujols is going to be the manager of the Angels.
No surprise. I want what's ever best for Albert Pujols and whatever he wants. What I have to say doesn't matter, but I will say this: that is a hopeless situation.
Mm-hmm.
It is the dregs of the earth when it comes to Major League Baseball. You have an owner who is just kind of Fruit Loops and just keeps spending money on things they don't even need.
Yeah, old players.
They've lost their way. They haven't been relevant, even with Mike Trout, even when they had Pujols
and Ohtani.
Exactly. They have just been irrelevant. You know, they made the playoffs one time when Trout and Pujols were teammates one time.
Yeah.
And they got swept by Kansas City in 2014, I think it was. So it's a dead end job, but I hope that he distinguishes himself in a way where his next job will be a much better one.
Well, I told Matt when he told it when we were reading about it during the break, I said, if I'm Albert, one of the things I want some say in the roster. I don't want my roster dictated to me by ownership. And one of my conditions would be if I'm out, because Albert's got power. Albert is going to have offers coming out his ears as this moves forward.
Yeah.
I would want to make sure that I have at least an equal voice in the roster decisions in our direction as anyone else in the organization.
That's really important. Yep.
To Bernie's point, you can do that going to a bad. Look at Skip Schumacher. He went to the Marlins.
Yeah.
He didn't win that much there. He won a little bit, but
he had a good
win.
first year, then bad second year. Yeah.
But he did enough there that every other person in baseball recognized that, okay, this dude's a pretty good manager.
Yeah.
And now he's walking into a situation in Texas. We'll see what happens there. I think that might be a situation where after labor gets figured out, the Rangers start to kind of come back around. They may start.
They're going to cut back this year, it sounds like. Yeah.
But he's going to be in a very good spot at a place that's known to win. So you can do that. So even if this isn't a long-term deal with Albert and Anaheim,
correct,
I think he's going to be respected if he does a good job.
Yeah. And I think we've all talked about it. He's got the characteristics to do the job. The players are going to respect him. He knows how to be in a clubhouse because he's been in one his entire life. And he's pretty good at the TV stuff now. Like, he was good at it as a player, but he got better at it by doing the TV analyst work and all that. So I think he fits.
Young players revere him.
Yeah.
Like the work he did with his Winter League team in the Dominican Republic was just masterful. A lot of it was just leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And then, to then win the Caribbean World Series, that team did not have the most talent in the league, yet he that's a tough place to manage anyway, because it's so chaotic. He overcame not having the best talent in the league, not even close. He overcame that. And, took him all the way to the championship. So, I mean, he's a very special man and a very special leader. And it'll be interesting to see. But, I'll say this real quick. This job, maybe, who knows? This job could be good training for his second job, which may be the St. Louis Cardinals. Who knows, right?
We're going to keep an eye on that for sure. I know that all of us are going to have our attention on that. All right, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Matt, you got 20 seconds. What's up on Sports Open Line?
Yeah, we'll continue to talk college football, Missouri, Illinois. We'll get in. Obviously, the school host thing just breaking. We'll touch a lot more on this as well.
All right, boys, have great weekends. I know that I will be firmly planted on the couch for most of it. You guys enjoy that as well, and we'll reconvene on Monday and see how it all went. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you, wrapping up Rush Hour Sports. Sports Open Line coming up right after the news here on KMOX.
Save big money on your roofing project at Menards with Owens Corning Shingles. Your roof is the first line. Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
KMOX proudly supports the Musial Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Well, we still got that jam on eastbound Gravois from Tesson Ferry into McKenzie. Just bumper to bumper, solid through there. Westbound's not as bad because of the restrictions around the train derailment just north of there, over around Weber in New Hampshire, where the command post for the fire department has been set up. If you're on southbound 55, there are still some pockets. It's bumper to bumper. It's midway down from M to Z, but it opens up before you get to Z, although it remains busy through that area. If you're on southbound 170, Brownwood down to 64 is heavy. Eastbound 64 a little slow at the Intervale. North 270 a little slow. Clayton Road up to 64. Out in the Westplex, westbound 70 west of Lake St. Louis, out through Wentzville Parkway is heavy. Westbound 64 backs up from the boulevard out to Highway 70. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 still a backup, both sides of 158 in that construction zone. And 47 has delays both ways, but northbound is a jam at Cedarberry Drive, just north of Country Club Lane. That's an injury crash in Franklin County. I'm Roger Brand in the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Deadly Tennessee explosion.
Can I describe the building? There's nothing to describe. It's gone.
On day 10 of government shutdown,
Reductions in the federal workforce have now begun.
peace plan moving forward.
The Israeli army had withdrawn to an agreed-upon line still within Gaza.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A deadly explosion at a munitions plant in Tennessee is said to have been felt miles away. It happened about 60 miles southwest of Nashville. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis.
I can tell you right now that we're looking for 19 individuals.
And they are feared dead. CBS's Nicole Valdez near the scene.
Right now, there are a lot of questions, a lot of people here who are waiting for those answers. They are filled with emotion. You can tell as they sit here, they're filled with anxiety. They're hugging one another, just trying to make sense of what happened here.
The blast took place on the Accurate Energetic Systems campus. On this 10th day of the government shutdown, Office of Management and Budget Director Russ Vought says the Trump administration has started handing out layoff notices to federal workers. CBS's Natalie Brand says of the reduction in force.
We have confirmed RIFs are in the works for agencies including Health and Human Services, the Department of Education, CISA, which is the cybersecurity agency at DHS, the Treasury Department, EPA, but no spokesperson will give us exact numbers.
No votes are scheduled in the House next week, nor are there talks scheduled between Senate leaders. A Gaza woman displaced by the war says she's happy to be returning home. It comes after Israel says the ceasefire is now in effect. More from CBS's Haley Ott.
Now a 72-hour countdown has started for Hamas to release the hostages, meaning we could see that happen anytime in the next 3 days. The Red Cross, which has facilitated previous hostage releases, says it has begun its preparations.
Two former secretaries of state give their take on the Israel-Hamas peace deal.
In an exclusive interview with CBS News, former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice commended the Trump administration for the way it put together the peace plan.
There are a number now of important parties who have a stake in this,
including the Palestinian people.
They recognize that a lot of their suffering is because of Hamas.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said that's why the next steps in the 20-point peace plan are so crucial.
We have to build a new transitional authority for the Palestinians.
Adding the Israeli government also has to make some hard decisions. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump announces an additional 100% tariff on China imports to start November 1st. Stocks tumbled on Wall Street, with the Dow and Nasdaq falling over 800 points and the S&P 500 closing down almost 3%. Now this.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
At 6:03, it's a cloudy sky. Right now, 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. A train has derailed in Afton.
Kate Moore with the Afton Fire District tells KMOX there are about 10 cars in total that broke off the track, but 2 in particular are a concern right now.
The biggest concern is that there was 2 cars that actually rolled, pressurized tanks that rolled into and off the tracks into the backyards of a couple houses.
She says the belief right now is that those tankers are empty, but they are checking to make sure there are no residual chemicals in there. They have evacuated the homes that the tankers rolled onto, but not the surrounding neighborhood, not even the homes across the street. In Afton, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Monty Henderson, the man who ran a red light and crashed into 2 women, killing them, has been sentenced to 21 years in prison. Henderson expressed remorse while addressing the family.
My mom and sisters mean the world to me. They mean everything to me. So it kills me, especially every day when I think about how I caused the death of a mother and a daughter.
The prosecution asked for 25 years. The defense asked for 8. The prosecution said Henderson had a rifle with an extended drum magazine on the driver's side floorboard and admitted to taking shots of alcohol before the crash.
Everything that you did, why me? Seemed like you needed it.
That's William H. Macy playing Jack Buck in the movie Soul on Fire, which opens today nationwide. It's the story of how Buck's friendship with the young John O'Leary helped John recover from a devastating fire and go on to a career as a motivational speaker and author. It was filmed in St. Louis. Let's get you to Roger Brand at the traffic center.
Well, Michael, we still have the backup on eastbound Gravois. It's still bumper to bumper pretty much from Tesson Ferry all the way in through Mackenzie, due in part to that train derailment with the restrictions north of Gravois. So it continues to be some tough traffic there, especially for eastbound drivers. And within the last 10, 15 minutes, the hazmat team has been activated. So now they're down there actively, closely inspecting those cars involved with the train derailment that Sean Malone is covering for us this evening. As far as the highways go, other than that, still has some heavy traffic. South 170 Brentwood is 64. Eastbound 64 is slow. 170 through Hanley. Westbound 64 at Topgolf. And then Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70 is backed up. Westbound 70, bumper to bumper stuff approaching A all the way out to Wentzville Parkway. Southbound 55, you've got a little bit of a heavy stretch right through Highway Z. Westbound 64 still on the brakes both sides of 158. Over in Metro East due to road work, and we still have a bit of a jam northbound on 47 at Cedarberry Lane, just north of Country Club Lane. That's due to an injury crash. I'm Roger Brand in the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
We are dealing with a very quiet weather pattern, though a little bit warmer right through the weekend. Some clouds will continue to be around overnight tonight. Evening temperatures focused on dropping out of the 70s and into the 60s, and 58 for the low. Saturday, mostly sunny skies in the 70s to near 80 degrees. I think the high will be 81. Saturday night, clear skies 55. Sunday, sunny skies and 84 degrees. Sunday night, clear skies and 58. Monday, Columbus Day, sunny skies, 70s to near 80. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 70 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Yeah, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Live. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Here we go on a Friday night. Welcome in. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. We appreciate everybody sticking through Rush Hour Sports and staying with us through Sports Open Line. If you just happen to be tuning in, glad to have you. We are with you until 8 o'clock tonight. It is a busy program. We're going to do a lot of college football today. Kyle Helms is going to join us in about 10 minutes or so. He's part of the team at ABC 17 in mid-Missouri. We're going to preview Mizzou, Alabama with him. And then next hour, we are going to be joined by Jeremy Warner. He covers Illinois for the Illini Inquirer. That's part of the 24/7 Sports Network. So we're going to get those two games very much covered in great detail during those conversations today. We'll talk some St. Louis Blues hockey. Not a great start for them last night. They lose their season opener. A bummer when you're coming off such a great year that they had last year to have kind of a thud moment in your home opener. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. I thought, I read as much as I can. I read Lynn Worthy's column today in the Post-Dispatch and STL today, and he wrote what I had been trying to say, and he was right. So I give credit to Lynn because it's kind of how I felt, but I hadn't really put my put the voice to it. We make these assumptions about the Blues that there's going to be momentum that carries over from last year to this year, despite the fact that Coach Montgomery and everybody else has reminded us time and time and time again that it's a new season and it doesn't continue from last year. And in many ways, yesterday was a good reminder of that. The Blues are going to be fine. They're a good team. They had a bad night. It doesn't matter. I'm not worried about a single 5-0 loss. I'm bummed out that what was going to be a really cool, fun night, and it still was, but I'm bummed out that they opened up the season with a 5-0 loss. But that is the extent of my my worry. We'll talk a fair amount of baseball. Last night, the Chicago Cubs win. They beat the Milwaukee Brewers. That forces a game number 5 of the National League Divisional Series, and that game 5 going to be coming up tomorrow in Milwaukee. And from a Cardinal standpoint, obviously there's a lot of attention on the other NL Central teams that are in there and alive. And that series where Milwaukee, following their fantastic season, coming up just short of 100 wins, having the top record, being able to have playoffs, home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And then they win the first 2 games of that series against the Cubs. And you have all the rivalry stuff when it comes to that, because the Craig Counsell leaving Milwaukee, Milwaukee's favorite son, Craig Counsell, leaving to go to Chicago. The fact that the two cities are just 90 miles apart. So, and I said this earlier, when you get to the southernmost part of what's like the Milwaukee metro area and you get to the northernmost part of the Chicagoland area, they're basically right next to each other. Those two areas basically butt up against each other. There are people who live in Milwaukee and work in Chicago and make that trip every single day. So, I mean, they're very, very close. I feel like even saying they're 90 miles apart doesn't fully explain just how close those two cities and more specifically those two markets are to each other. And so for all that to happen, and now a ballpark that whenever the Cubs play the Brewers gets filled up by Cubs fans, it's going to be a really fun game coming up tomorrow. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's sports day a lot. We'll talk about that more. I got that Milwaukee fan base, if they don't win this series, it's more of the same in terms of accusing that organization being an organization that builds teams built for the regular season, not built for the playoffs. I know even people that we've had on this show push back on that idea, but at some point you got to do something in the postseason. That's what Cardinals fans say, right? That's whenever at the end of the season, whenever we brought up the legacy of John Mozeliak and said, well, yeah, you know what? The last few years haven't been great. However, when you look at the grand scheme of things, I always got pushback from people who said, well, it's not just the last 3 years. Look at the lack of postseason success in the last 10 years. And the Cardinals in the last 10 years have had a little bit more postseason success. Although the Brewers, to their credit, they got to the NLCS in 2018, was it? When they lost to the Dodgers in 7 games. But it has been an organization that has not done that much in the postseason. So we'll certainly talk through that as well. We mentioned this at the end of Rush Hour Sports. We'll get into it a little bit more. It sounds incredibly likely at this point that Albert Pujols is going to become the manager of the Angels. And, the moment they moved on from Ron Washington, Pujols' name was brought up. And we shouldn't be shocked. The only part of this that maybe should surprise us, or the only part of this that should shock us, is it's definitely not shock, maybe surprise, is the fact that the playing time, the end of Pujols' playing career with the Angels, it was not good. There were hurt feelings for sure. But as they say, time heals all wounds. Pujols has been working in the organization. He has the personal services contract that went along with the contract that he signed after he left St. Louis, and he's been doing work with the Angels. He'll work with some of the young players. He'll spend some time in some of the international academies. He's down there at spring training. He does all that, and evidently, whatever issues might have existed from the end of his playing career, those have all been put to bed. And now it seems very likely that he's going to end up as the manager there. I don't know what it's going to look like for him. You can be the greatest manager in the world, and if you don't have players, if you don't have a well-constructed roster, you can get a little bit more out of it than a manager who's not very good. In fact, that's what I argue all the time when it comes to Oliver Marmol. One of the reasons I like Marmol, and one of the reasons I think that we haven't really seen how good of a manager he can be, is because the teams that he has been given have just not been good enough to win at a high level, especially here over the last 3 years. If the Cardinals went all in and gave him a great roster and then they didn't win, my tune on Marmol would change in a big way. But I think he gets as much as he can out of the roster. Is Albert Pujols going to be the kind of guy that can get the most out of a roster? I lean yes. I think he checks a lot of the boxes. He checks a lot. The only box that maybe he doesn't check that I would be concerned with is he all in on going back into the grind of a baseball season? I always think that's really tough for players who had long careers. This isn't about the guy who plays 2, 3, 4 years in the big leagues and then is out of the game for a couple of years and then gets into coaching and starts working their way back up and kind of re-enters that line. This is about the player who plays 10 plus years in the big leagues, does it at a pretty high level, plays well into their mid to late 30s, and then doesn't have it anymore and gets to experience what is kind of a normal life for a little while. It's always tough to get back into it. And I don't think anybody knows for sure what that's going to feel like. So I don't know if Pujols will talk about it much if he gets this job. Like after the first year, what was it like getting back into the grind that is the Major League Baseball season and the Major League Baseball schedule? That's the only thing that I would maybe have any pause over whatsoever when it comes to Pujols. That jumping back into that lifestyle could be a challenging thing for him, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's something that he really desires. It's something that he really wants. You hear all the time from some players who talk about the fact that they miss that part of it. They miss being in a clubhouse every day. They just that's who they are, and that's what they want to do from a professional standpoint. So happy for Albert. Who knows what's going to happen with him moving forward? I think he checks a lot of boxes. I'm excited for him to see what it's going to look like. And we continue to see a lot of people with Cardinals connections who are managers across Major League Baseball. There's a lot of people who have been in this organization, and that's not a coincidence. And hopefully that continues to happen, especially if the Cardinals are able to kind of get themselves right once again. And I think they're bringing a lot of smart people into the organization, and smart people walk into your organization and smart people walk out as well. That's part of the deal, because at some point there's opportunities for them and bigger opportunities elsewhere that you can't provide to those individuals. And that's okay. That's okay, because you get their best while they're around. We'll talk more about this Pujols thing coming up in just a little while, but up next we'll switch gears. We'll talk Mizzou football. Kyle Helms is going to join us. He covers Mizzou, and he's going to be with us in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts, or store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
There are things in this world that just automatically cause frustration. And a lot of times our utility type items, the things that we need in our homes, they can be a little bit frustrating, whether it's how much you're paying for them and you don't really have much of a choice, things like that. So we all need internet, right? That's something that everybody pretty much needs in their home. The world that we live in right now requires that we have home internet. Stop paying too much for it. Stop getting bad service. You want fast internet? Are you frustrated with how much your internet lags, or how often you're watching streaming and something buffers if somebody maybe is watching something else in the house? i3 Broadband. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're the best. They're the home internet provider at my home. I never want to have another home internet provider for the rest of my life, because I am comfortable with how much I pay. When I pay the bill every month, I don't go, oh man, that is not right. No, I feel, because I've paid for the cable company. I've paid for other internet service providers. This is the best deal and the best value I've ever gotten. The reliability, it is incredible. They put the wire in underground, so you don't have to worry about a storm or something knocking out your internet. The reliability is incredible. And then the speed's great. 1 gig, 2 gig, 8 gig packages. They upload, they mirror the upload speed. They mirror along with the download speed. That's a really big deal. See if they're available in your neighborhood. They're always adding new neighborhoods throughout the St. Louis area. Put in your address, i3broadband.com. That's i3broadband.com. It is i3 Broadband.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
At Ophthalmology Associates, their goal is to ensure that every one of their patients
enjoys the best possible eyesight at every stage of their life. This is Rick Wallace, and I've been through several life stages with Ophthalmology Associates. I've trusted them with my eye care for almost 30 years. Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer head up a network of leading specialists in every field of eye health. They're involved in leading-edge research and equipped with the latest technology to handle the most complex situations. And there is always personalized eye care tailored to your individual needs and preferences at Ophthalmology and Associates. Oh yeah, pediatric eye care too, and a full-service optical shop. Ophthalmology Associates. Visit youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
1041 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
It's Kramer Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. Big college football day coming up tomorrow. One of the biggest games in the nation will take place in Columbia as the number 14 Tigers are in action against number 8 Alabama. Very happy to welcome on to the program right now. Covers Mizzou athletics for ABC 17 News in Columbia and mid-Missouri. He is Kyle Helms. You follow him on Twitter at Kyle Helms, ABC 17. Kyle, thanks for coming back on the show. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Certainly excited for this one tomorrow. What is the overall excitement level? Because it feels like what an amazing opportunity for a Missouri team already ranked in the top 15, an opportunity to knock off a top 10 team at home and remain undefeated. A lot could go well for the Tigers the rest of the way if they can come up with this win coming up tomorrow afternoon.
I'll tell you, there is a buzz around campus. I mean, SEC Nation is already here with the Paul Feinbaum show going on today. Marty and McGee and SEC Nation going on in the morning. It's going to be Mizzou's 18th straight sellout crowd. A lot of people talking about this game, obviously in the national spotlight. It's going to be on ABC. You know, this is really just a golden opportunity for Mizzou to really cement themselves into the college football playoff conversation. The first time two AP top 15 teams have played on Faurot Field in nearly half a century. You know, and Mizzou, talking to them this week, you know, they seem ready and up for the challenge. And I'm expecting a really close game, and I'm thinking that, you know, maybe Mizzou can turn a lot of heads, you know, when the clock hits 0 on Saturday.
That's pretty crazy that it's been that long since you've had two teams of that stature play in Columbia. I think a lot of people might be surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I was too. It was a stat that I thought was pretty crazy. And, I mean, I think it just goes to show just how important of a game this really is. You know, there's a lot of conversation about, you know, is this the biggest game of, you know, the Eli Drinkwitz era? I think that there's definitely an argument to be made, but I don't know if it's necessarily this early in the season, if you can say it is, but it's definitely one of them. And just what this can do for Mizzou in terms of, you know, cementing themselves as a potential college football playoff team and, you know, being able to put themselves up to the test of facing, you know, a blue blood like Alabama. You know, Mizzou's had, you know, obviously games against Central Arkansas, UMass, Louisiana, and then the bigger ones against Kansas and South Carolina, you know, really took care of business in all of those, and they've put up a lot of really, really good numbers. And this is just a really good opportunity for them to really go and just add to that and just prove to a lot of the teams that maybe have had questions about the competition at this point that, this team is for real and that they can make some noise come closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, it's a great point by you. I read a column, I think it was from a national columnist. I forget who it was, but basically the point of the column was with Missouri, there's always like a but with them. Well, they've got this record, but they've done this, but whatever it might be. Is this the opportunity for the Tigers playing against a name team, a top 10 team, to kind of get rid of that but?
I absolutely think so. And, Mizzou definitely, deserves to be in all of these conversations about what their potential is up to be. I mean, right now, there's sitting undefeated in SEC play. I know they've only got one game so far, and now they're heading into the, into the heart of that, and they got nothing but SEC games the rest of the way. But, with the guys that they've brought in, from Ahmad Hardy, just leading the entire nation in rushing yards and has just looked like an absolute rising star, turning so many heads, one of the toughest running backs to bring down in all of college football, to Bo Perbula, who in his first year as a starter has looked like a seasoned veteran, in the way that he has just came in 1 year and he's already, established himself as a leader of this offense. And then how the defense is playing. Mizzou is getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and they're also stopping the run at an extremely high level. From Zion Young to Damon Wilson, who was a transfer from Georgia, to Josiah Trotter, who came from West Virginia, was a freshman All-American. Mizzou's got a lot of really, really solid players who have already really made a name for themselves so far and established themselves as really talented players already this season. And I think, all those players are going to have their chance to be able to shine in front of a national audience come Saturday and could really, Mizzou on the map in terms of, what this team's potential could be, as we hit, the middle half of the season.
I feel dumb asking this question because we all know the numbers that Ahmad Hardy has put up this year and how he's been so important to what Mizzou has done from an offensive standpoint. Is he the single biggest key offensively? Or are you looking more at Perbula and the past game? Like for Missouri to score enough points to win this game, what has to happen offensively?
I mean, I definitely think it starts with Ahmad. If you look at, the numbers, obviously he's leading the entire NCAA in rushing yards. And Alabama right now, in terms of, their first 5 games, they're in the bottom 4 of the SEC in rushing yards allowed per game. So, I mean, you got to like on paper the matchup there, with what Ahmad has done in 5 games and how Alabama hasn't really been that stout at stopping the run. So you think that there's a little bit of a matchup there. Obviously there's a chance that Caden Greek could return. As of right now, we're waiting for, the Friday update for the SEC injury report. Right now he's questionable, but he can come back. He's a preseason All-American at left tackle. He could be a very, very he could be a game changer for Mizzou if he's back and healthy and in the lineup. So I'm looking at that offensive line. I'm looking at Ahmad to be able to, really be the keys in this game. But, this could be a game where, Perbula really has a chance to really, establish himself and get this passing game going as well. If, Alabama's going to go with the game plan where they're going to not let Ahmad or Jamal Roberts beat them. This could be a game where Bo can really, take the reins and can really turn a lot of heads and, even show, what he's capable of doing that he's already shown in 5 games as well.
Kyle Helms from ABC 17 in mid-Missouri, Columbia, continuing to join us. Since Eli Drinkwitz has been the head coach of Missouri, he has built up an incredible home field advantage. And it's at a point now where just basically Missouri doesn't lose games at home. How key is it, the home field advantage, and how much can that help against a really good team like Alabama?
I think it's a huge advantage. And, I mean, with the north end zone construction going on, I can't wait to see what the stadium is going to be like, once it's fully enclosed, once, the entire north end zone is renovated. Because even before that, during the sellout streak, Pro Field's just been extremely loud. It's been a super fun atmosphere, and it's just been, a place where teams of, the opposing teams haven't been able to come in and been able to crack the code on how to beat the Tigers on their home turf. Mizzou has not lost at Thoreau since LSU of the Cotton Bowl year in 2023. It has been complete and utter, dominance for them on their home turf. And even in the games that have been close, Mizzou is always on their home turf, found a way to win. And I really feel like that just gives them an advantage going up against a really solid, historically great program like Alabama. And, they're going to have it on their home turf in front of their home crowd that's going to be supplying them plenty of energy. And Mizzou has found ways to, even when they're down, make some noise, get a key play when they're on their home turf. And I think that's going to come into play on Saturday is, there's going to be a turning point, and I think the energy and playing on their home turf is going to be able to supply that, that key play that Mizzou needs to either get them back in the game or, put them in control and against Alabama.
Before I let you go, before we brought you on the air, you had mentioned the fact that you were at a Mizzou wrestling media availability today. And did you say that did Tim Tebow stop by? Did he address the wrestling team? Like, just to explain a little bit the Mizzou wrestling and the Tim Tebow connection here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, SEC Nation is on campus this week. Tim is obviously a SEC Network analyst, and he's one of the analysts on the SEC Network panel. Or SEC Nation panel. And yeah, Mizzou, it's the first official day for Mizzou wrestling practice, and Tim's on campus and decided to take a couple minutes to stop by and address the wrestling team, talk to them for a little bit, answer questions, snap some pictures with some guys, and, just kind of adding to the buzz around campus about, just how big this upcoming game is, and also just showing some love to the other programs at Mizzou that, have all been doing a lot of great things, throughout their seasons as well. And obviously Brian Smith and company have been doing a lot of great things, historically over the last, decade and a half. So, it's just a really cool opportunity for him to stop by and for him to show some love to, another one of Mizzou's great programs on campus.
And there was a whole thing on social media where Eli was closing down the weight room so Tim Tebow could come in and get a workout. I know Josh Pate online kind of had some things to say, but that's part of Coach Drink. Like when things are going on, he's able to use the power of social media and things like that to advance things and put the spotlight on the university of the program. And it ends up being all in fun.
No, absolutely. He does a great job of utilizing social media and, just adding to the fun and excitement of, whatever the next game that's coming up on the Mizzou schedule. And especially in a game like this where it's got, a whole national audience watching it, with the game being on ABC and obviously it being, a matchup between two top 15 teams. He does a great job of capitalizing on all of that and creating a lot of hype for the game. And, that was just another example of that. And so, really looking forward to this game on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun.
He is Kyle Helms. He is part of the team at ABC 17 in Columbia. Follow him on Twitter at Kyle Helms, ABC 17. Kyle, thanks for the time. I know it's a busy Friday with covering some high school football and, of course, a big Saturday coming up tomorrow. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll do it again down the line.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That is Kyle Helms. We'll take a break. We got more coming up in just a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, coming to Missouri soon, December 1st. Finally, you'll be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports, and it could not come at a better time of year with football, basketball, hockey. It's all happening, and with FanDuel, tons of ways to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from the money line, over-under, bet the spread, or look to the future. Maybe you know who the MVP is going to be or win Coach of the Year, or what team's going to win the championship. You can do that with FanDuel. Plus, with live betting, you can even pick what player's going to score the next touchdown and the one after that while the game is going on. Download the FanDuel app and get familiar with it, because the app will be live to use December in Missouri. You can see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to download the app. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
And the Lovin' Spoonful.
Do you believe in magic?
Saturday, October 25th at the Family Arena with the Hollies' greatest hits, starring Terry Sylvester. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon and the Lovin' Spoonful.
Starship featuring Mickey Thomas. With John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Shooting Star.
Last chance to believe in yourself.
In Missouri. Saturday, November 15th, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak. I am excited to announce the opening of Golden Oak Premier Realty. That means we're your one-stop shop for financing and buying your home. One team, one goal, your home. Not moving? Now is still the time. Your home's equity is higher than ever. And with our 4.5% mortgage rate, you could save over $1,000 every month. Use your equity to pay off high-interest credit cards, lower your monthly payment, or even skip 2 months of mortgage payments. And don't forget, if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. We make the process fast and easy, often getting your cash in as little as 14 days. Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing, call Golden Oak today and let us put our 25 years of experience to work for you. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, join my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Dave, congratulations on your 25th anniversary from BioBalance Health, Dr. Sullivan, and me personally.
You have single-handedly helped us reach hundreds of new patients, both men and women, over the past 15 years. Since 2010, BioBalance has been treating men and women over the age of 40 with testosterone pellets and preventative medicine.
BioBalance Health was the first medical hormone pellet practice in St. Louis. Now we are the most successful.
Dave has not only been our partner at BioBalance Health, but also our patient and great friend.
Thanks, Dave.
Sunday is a doubleheader football Sunday. First up, the Cowboys and Panthers at 11:30. Then at 6, it's the Chiefs and Lions.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
It's a football Sunday on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's Grey Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley, continuing to take you through this Friday evening. Certainly appreciate you being with us. In the 7 o'clock hour, we just had a guest on to talk Missouri football. In the 7 o'clock hour, we'll shift gears and talk a little bit about the big game for the Fighting Illini, as they have an opportunity to knock off the number one team in the nation, Ohio State, headed to Champaign. And Jeremy Warner from the Illini Enquirer, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, he is going to join us in the 7 o'clock hour at about 7:20. Also, it is Friday. So we will have our weekly conversation courtesy of our sister station, 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City, with Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. For those of you who are listening live, I know a lot of people listen later via podcast or go back to the video stream. For those of you who are listening live, you just heard a commercial for our NFL doubleheader that's going to be coming up on Sunday here on KMOX. We will have the Chiefs game. That's going to be, they've got the night game, but then also we're going to have Cowboys football on Sunday afternoon as they're set to take on the Carolina Panthers. So we've got a lot of NFL coming up this weekend here on KMOX. A little bit of news. I think most people are going to be very happy with this news because they were received so well when they came to St. Louis for the first time this past season. But the Savannah Bananas announced their schedule for next year, and they once again are going to be in St. Louis. They will play 2 nights worth of games, playing on Friday, August 21st and Saturday, August 22nd. They're doing something a little bit different this year. They're adding more banana ball teams. So it's more of like a league and they're going to take other teams are going to go to other markets. So they're going to have more traveling shows. Essentially, I didn't get the chance. I've never seen them live. I want to see them live. I didn't get the opportunity to see them this year. I'd like to go. I'd like to take my family. So hopefully that is something that maybe we can work out this upcoming season. But And you know what? I'll throw out the text number here. And I'd love it, or you can text, you can tweet at me if you'd like. I'm just kind of curious because the reaction to Savannah Banana stuff is almost all positive for the individuals who like go to the games and everything. But I was looking at the release today, and I was looking at some announcements for a few different cities. There's a lot of people who come out and just like really do not like the Savannah Bananas for some reason. So if you're one of those people, I guess I'd like to know why. You can text in 314-436-7900. I don't want to take too much time with this, but I don't get like they're not trying to say they're competing with Major League Baseball. There's something they're different. They're just a fun thing that happened to be going with the baseball. And I know like they don't like to be compared to the Harlem Globetrotters. Their leader, Jesse Cole, who's a really, really interesting guy, an interesting story. Anytime you say, oh, they're the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, he pushes back on that very quickly and says, no, they're not. He likes to say that they're not the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball because the Harlem Globetrotters don't lose. Whereas what goes on with the Savannah Bananas is there's an actual game being played. There's just a lot of other stuff that's going on as the game is being played, but it's not the outcome is not that every moment of a Harlem Globetrotters game is you know what's going to happen, but essentially the Globetrotters don't lose, right? We know that. So that's part of why he says it's a difference. If you're not I don't think you compare it to Major League Baseball. We just got a message coming in on the video stream that says it's not real. Well, it is real. It's not Major League Baseball. It's a different game. Got a text message from Sanderson, says my issue with the Savannah Bananas is my kids would rather watch that than watch real baseball. Real baseball is incredible. Well, maybe real baseball could learn something, and not in terms of the way the game is played, but in terms of the way the game is marketed in ways, the Bananas are very much a fan first thing. The athletes are front and center. I think there is something to learn. Again, I don't want to see fans catching foul balls during a Major League Baseball game and that counting as an out. Like that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I want to see. But they do such a good job of being able to market the game and try to make it a fan-friendly environment, even with ticket prices. And I know there's still going to be the secondary ticket markets. To their credit, they've really tried to stop the secondary ticket markets to the prices on Savannah Bananas tickets, because there are just the demand is so high. Those tickets get astronomical. But if you're actually buying tickets from the Bananas, you're paying a price that is very fair. Text message says the Bananas would not have that type of following if it was 162 games. Of course not. There's something to be said for a team that comes in for a game or two. But also at one point in time when they were actually in Savannah, if you don't know the background of the Savannah Bananas, they were a collegiate league baseball team, and they would do their banana ball thing inside the constraints of actual baseball, but they would do all the other wacky stuff. They would do that for their home games, but then they would have to go play road games in that same league, and they would just be normal baseball games. Now they eventually outgrew what they were doing in Savannah, and now it's a national touring act essentially. But there was all those games when they were just in Savannah for just the summer, and it wasn't 162 games. I don't know what it was. The Collegiate Baseball League season is probably 90 games or so probably 45 home games. Maybe it's 60 games, 30 home games. I don't know exactly how many, 70 and 30, 35 home games, but they were selling out all those games. So yeah, to the texter's point, no, it was not 162 games, but they did run, before they became what they are now, they did run a version of this in Savannah, Georgia, and they sold out every single game. So there is the appeal. And I think to the texter before that said that their issue is that their kids would rather watch that than real baseball. Let the Savannah Bananas be the gateway drug for real baseball, right? I love baseball as much as anybody. I have devoted my career to the game of baseball. And if my kids fall in love with the idea of baseball through the Savannah Bananas, I'm all in on that. They'll come around. Eventually, you have to have a team that you root for on an every night basis and everything that goes along with that. And obviously, growing up in St. Louis, it's hard not to be a Cardinals fan. But if my kids fall in love with Savannah Bananas baseball, I'm good with that. I'm good with that totally. Teresa says the Savannah Bananas were not meant to be competitive with Major League Baseball. It's entertainment only. I compare it to the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Sure. So I don't know. People just seem to, anytime something's a little bit different, anytime something's a little bit wacky, a little bit fun, it seems like people. Here's the thing that people took real issue with. They are doing 2 or 3 shows in Lincoln, Nebraska, as the College World Series is going on. And people thought, I saw so many messages, oh, this is so disrespectful to the College World Series. How dare the Savannah Bananas do games in Lincoln as the College World Series is going on in Omaha? They are 2 different cities, but for those of you not familiar with the geography of Nebraska, Lincoln and Omaha are pretty close to each other. I don't think that less people are going to go to the College World Series because they're going to go check out the Savannah Bananas. John Camp is in here. He's our producer tonight. Are you a fan of the of Banana Ball?
I was a fan because I'd only seen the videos of making backflip catches and plays between the legs. They put on quite a show when they were at Busch Stadium for the 2 days that I was there. Full entertainment for a couple hours up until the game actually started. And when the game started, I mean, the entertainment kept going, and they had parties at Ballpark Village after both games. It was quite a time.
It's, somebody said it's WWE baseball. It's not real. Did you feel like as the baseball game was going on that it was a true competitive baseball game?
I mean, all of them can play, so I feel like anything could happen. I didn't really feel I feel like with Globetrotters, it's hard. It's easy to script a basketball game. With baseball, it's hard to script because the pitchers, I mean, they weren't just throwing fastballs. I mean, I saw some sliders, I saw some breaking balls, and there were some home runs hit. There were lots of backflip catches, lots of trick plays as they call it. But I couldn't really see it being, I mean, I guess it's a fair comparison, but I guess it's a lot harder for me to think that it's scripted just because it's baseball and it's kind of as unforgiving as
they
basketball.
Lose some. Don't the Bananas lose sometimes?
They do.
They?
Yes,
yeah.
They won both games at Busch, but yeah, they do lose some.
Yeah, I thought and it's again this year they're doing this whole thing where Banana Ball is going to be a league. I think there's 6 teams or 8 teams, so the games are actually competitive. The Bananas, they win most of their games, but they don't win all their games. Mm-hmm. And so that's something as well, because you walk in, when you walk into the Harlem Globetrotters, you know you're going to walk out seeing a Harlem Globetrotters win. When you walk in to see the Savannah Bananas, they may not win that night. It is not totally, it's not totally fake. There's actually baseball type things going on. Banana Ball, competitive Banana Ball while it's taking place. All right, we will take a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. We'll jump into more serious sports. I promise this is not going to be 2 hours of talking about Savannah Bananas. But again, I know fans are excited that they are going to be coming back to St. Louis this upcoming year. Again, if you missed it, the dates August 21st and August 22nd at Busch Stadium. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll wrap up hour number 1 of the program. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Underdog, the best place to get in on all the action during football season. Football season is in full swing, and that means Underdog is alive and well. You can select entries, and you can win money right now in Missouri. You just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats. Or maybe they aren't your favorite players, but you just think that they're going to go higher or lower on a certain number, whether it's touchdowns, receptions, rushing yards, receiving yards, etc. They have all kinds of entries. You get them right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. It's Underdog. Download the app and use promo code TOM. Sign up with promo code TOM. to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TOM. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Red Kingdom is back at FanDuel Sports Network Live in Ballpark Village. See every game on the largest screen in town. Don't forget about the $25 buckets, $5 cocktails, and the best tailgate food around. Grab your friends along with Kingdom OX and huddle up for the games at the best watch party in town. If you can't make it, but don't want to miss a down, listen to the Chiefs on Kingdom OX or Kingdom OX on the Odyssey app. For more info, kingdomox.com/events.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
We are back at it for just another moment or so, as we are taking you until 8 o'clock tonight. So we're here wrapping up hour number 1 of the program. I don't know if you saw this last night on Thursday Night Football, but Brian Daboll, the head coach of the New York Giants, he got, and look, it's really, really easy to get kind of like caught up in things. I know I've been caught up in things at times. So it has been, I guess I get it. Even if I'm going to be critical of it, I get it. But last night during the Giants-Eagles game, Jackson Dart, the young rookie quarterback for the New York Giants, he grabbed at his head on the ground after taking a third quarter sack. So with that, he had to go to the Blue Medical tent to be evaluated for a concussion. Now, what the NFL wants to have happen in these situations is once that initiation of going to the tent happens, that player is essentially off limits to the coaches until they have been medically cleared. And if you're a coach, you're just accepting of that fact that until they're cleared, they are not available to you. So if you saw on the broadcast last night, or if you weren't watching, this is what went down. Daboll went to the blue tent, poked his head in, and then he was later seen talking in a very animated fashion to the team doctor. He said that he wanted to find out if Dart was okay, and also wanted to know whether or not they needed to call a timeout and then potentially go for it on 4th down if Dart was going to be available. Dable in his post-game media session said that he apologized to the team doctor. Dart was eventually cleared. He was returned. I get this is football. I get if you're Brian Dable, you're coaching for your job, right? And last night's a big night for the New York Giants to get that win. That goes a long way towards Brian Dable staying the head coach of the New York Giants. But sometimes when you get caught up in the moment, you got to be able to take a step back and not do what Dable did last night. And there's going to be a lot of doctors in that situation. Doctors are not football coaches. Doctors are not football players. They're doctors. It's different when you're in the grind of doing everything that is football. You kind of live your life in a different way very often. And doctors, their daily life is probably very different than that. So there's a good chance, I don't know anything about this doctor, but there's a good chance that if the head coach of the Giants is coming after you a little bit, that can be intimidating. If I'm the NFL, and I'm not trying to make too big of a deal of this, I get kind of the Tommy tough guy nature of football and wanting to have your guys and everything. But I think we all know that concussions are a real thing. And sometimes you have to go a little bit overboard in one direction to try to make sure that players are as safe as possible. Like if you're Brian Dable, you're going to say to yourself, well, he didn't even have a concussion. Why did I have to wait all this time to get this guy back? That could have cost us the game. Like that's what you're thinking if you're Brian Dable. But in the situations where it is a concussion or they do need to be pulled out, like that's time that needs to be taken. So if I'm the NFL, I really look at this situation and I probably find Dable. Like this is something that just can't happen. There has to be a place in the game where players know that they can go to this tent, they can be looked at, everything's going to be okay, and that health can actually be more important than the other side of it for a moment or so. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would push back on that. I felt a little bit uncomfortable watching Dable do what he did yesterday. To his credit, he apologized after the game, but that's one of those things where you can't even somebody's got to stop him. He's got to have somebody there who says, Brian, you got to do something else. You cannot go try to get the doctor to clear your quarterback. We've got more coming up after the 7:00 news. It's Graybar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community, proudly recognizing the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. Known as CASTLE, the agency is one of a network of community action agencies coming together to transition people out of poverty towards self-sufficiency. CASTLE serves 44,000 people in St. Louis County every year. Learn more about the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County at caastlc.org. That's caastlc.org.
This is Blake Trevenza, Commercial Relationship Manager at Busey. The Community Action Agency of St. Louis County, also known as CASTLE, helps people move from crisis to stability. With housing, food, health, legal aid, education, and more, CASTLE empowers families to break the cycle of poverty. Take action yourself and find out more about CASTLE, the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, the doctors, or just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, the doctors. They've treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Dr. Andy Royer. 314-966-5000 is their phone number. 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or visit them online, youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, quarter-mile west of 270. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats or the joy of early bedtimes? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So, you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Over a dozen people are missing and feared dead after a huge blast at an explosives plant about 60 miles southwest of Nashville, Tennessee. It happened at Accurate Energetic Systems, which has processed explosives and ammunitions for the military. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis calls it devastating.
We don't know what caused the explosion. I can tell you when I say debris, I'm talking about a very large building that an explosion happened in, that the debris has went basically across a half a square mile of location.
CBS's Nicole Valdez is there.
We know there are still 19 people missing. Now, the sheriff here has said that there have been people who lost their lives, but he won't say just how many. We do know that at least 4 people were taken to the hospital. So again, numbers right now are still sort of fluid.
President Trump has announced a new 100% tariff on Chinese goods. CBS's Linda Kenyon has the latest.
President Trump says he's imposing the tariffs in response to the Chinese announcement of export controls on rare earth minerals used by U.S. industries.
We were just surprised that China have a very good relationship with President Xi, and they did that. This is not something that I, instigated. This was just a response to something that they did.
The president was asked if he might roll back the tariffs if China reconsiders.
We're going to have to see what happens. That's why I made it November 1st.
Trump added he'll still be attending an upcoming summit in South Korea, but he may not meet with China's president while he's there. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
It was hinted earlier today that this was coming, and according to CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger,
because China dominates the processing capabilities for rare earths around the world, China shot across the bow of new export restrictions on rare earths, really rattled a lot of investors.
The Dow plunged 879 points. The Nasdaq fell 820, and the S&P 500 slumped more than 2% for the first time since April. The announcement by Trump came after the markets closed. The White House Budget Office says in court that it could fire over 4,000 federal employees during the government shutdown. CBS's Nicole Killian says already
notices have gone out to a number of employees at different agencies, ranging from the Department of Health and Human Services to the Department of Homeland Security, Treasury, and others.
The president says his administration has struck a deal with UK-based drug maker AstraZeneca.
Today, AstraZeneca is committing to offer all of their prescription medications to Medicaid at most favored nations prices.
At least 23 people have died in Mexico due to heavy rains this week. Mexico's civil protection authorities reported intense rainfall in 31 of Mexico's 32 states. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At 7:03, we've got a cloudy sky, and it's 69 degrees downtown at the Arch. A train derailed in South County in a residential area this afternoon.
Kate Moore with the Afton Fire District tells KMOX 10 cars derailed when the train went off the tracks in Afton. 2 of them rolling into residential properties were pressurized tanks. Now, the belief is that they are empty, but hazmat teams are out making sure that they are, just in case there's any residual chemicals.
If there is any residual, when they start this cleanup process, that's not going to affect any of the environment or the homes or people.
Jared, the only homes that were evacuated were properties that the cars rolled onto, and adds that there were no injuries either to residents or people on the train. In Afton, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Tristan Akes lives nearby and was walking home when he heard the crash.
And it was just very loud. It was nothing normal I've ever heard before. So that's why I was pretty suspicious about it.
He says the crash was so loud he heard it through his noise-canceling headphones. A St. Louis man has been sentenced for killing a mother and daughter outside of a Drake concert downtown. Monty Henderson pled guilty to 2 counts of armed criminal action and 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. The aunt and great-aunt of the victims described the anguish the family feels and their desire for justice.
There is no forgiveness for what he has done. This is no understanding. There are no excuses. There is only lost pain, the need for justice for Letty and Alyssa.
Henderson expressed remorse when he addressed the family. He was sentenced to 21 years in prison. A 22-year-old is arrested for shooting blow darts at people in South City. A man was hit in the thigh last night about 7 along Chippewa, wasn't seriously hurt. 24 hours before that, a woman on Hampton was carrying a to-go box out of a restaurant, and the dart went through her leftovers. Dylan Lambert is charged with assault. If you missed out on seeing the sold-out Savannah Bananas at Busch Stadium this summer, you'll get another chance. The 2026 Banana Ball World Tour stops in St. Louis for 2 games next August. Adam Ferrant is coach and director of baseball operations with the Savannah Bananas.
I know people are wondering about how to get tickets, and the single best way right now is you got to join our lottery list, and that's how you get those tickets. And so join our lottery list, go on bananaball.com, and may the best man win.
Fans can join the Bananas ticket lottery list before it closes October 31st at cardinals.com/bananas. For tonight, some clouds of 58 degrees. For tomorrow, sunshine, high 81, 55 for Saturday night. For Sunday, sunshine, high 84. Right now, clouds and 69 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Into hour number 2 of the program. Thanks for sticking with us, spending part of your Friday evening with us. On the way this hour, we are going to, in about 15 minutes or so, we'll talk with Jeremy Warner. He is part of the team. He's actually the publisher, so he's more than part of the team. He's the leader of the team over at the Illini Inquirer. That's part of the 24/7 Sports Network. We'll look forward to Illinois and Ohio State. That is coming up tomorrow. And then later on this hour, the weekly conversation that Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs quarterback, does with our sister station, 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City and Carrington Harrison. We tend to play that back for you on Friday nights, and we will certainly do that coming up later on this hour here on KMOX. So I felt just terrible watching the Phillies Dodgers and the way it ended yesterday. And if you haven't been following along with the way it ended, they were in the 11th inning of the game, and a young pitcher, Orion Kirkering, made a wild throw past home. It was just a roller to him. He could have just thrown it over to first. It would have sent the game to the next half inning. Instead, he threw home. He threw wide. The Dodgers score, and the Dodgers end up winning by a 2-1 score. Kirkering was great in post game. My heart just went out to him because that's a really tough moment. That's a really when the season ends, and the truth about it is the Phillies scored 1 run in 11 innings. They don't lose this game because of him, but the final play was something that was a direct result of a mistake that he made. They should have never been in that spot in the first place. And the Dodgers had 1 run too. Like, you could say that about either team. And I don't want to make this sound like this is, softball or elementary league, like little league softball is what I'm trying to say, or like these are grown men being paid a lot of money to play games at a really high level. And it's not about how you feel. It's about how you perform. I understand that. That's a very clear thing. But we can't forget the fact that they are human beings. And he went through that last night. It was his mistake. Culpability all to him. He made a mistake. His team ended up losing the game, and the direct 1-to-1 correlation is he makes the mistake. Dodgers win the game. That's what happened. One domino to the next domino. There were dominoes pushed before that, but those are the 2 dominoes that were right next to each other. He spoke in the post-game media session. He was, I wouldn't say he was distraught, but he was obviously, he was impacted by it almost to an emotional level. You could tell how much this meant. And it's just a good reminder for all of us. These guys are human beings. I talk about that a lot. Tony La Russa would talk that the man's not machine, man not machine thing that gets quoted all the time when it comes to La Russa. So I don't know. I wanted to mention that for just a second because I was doing Gas House Gang earlier today with Chris Ranji and Mike Claiborne. And I'm sitting in my home office when I was doing that. I had my TV on MLB Network, and they were just showing that play over and over and over and over and over again. And if you're that guy, MLB Network's probably something that you watch every so often. And just the fact that the mistake that you made gets played over and over and over. And there's a lot of really good things about being a Major League Baseball player. You get to make a lot of money and you get to do something really cool. And most people would trade spots with them no matter what, even if you have to deal with a situation like that. But I just felt bad for him. I felt bad for him when in that moment that the game has to finish in that kind of way. Even Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers, was asked about it. And he was obviously very glad that his team won. But you could tell he didn't want to win that way. He didn't want Kirkering to have that experience himself. Nobody wanted to. Like, that's just something that you don't want to see from a human standpoint. But the Dodgers advance. They seem to be the most likely candidate to get to the World Series from the National League side of things. I think that the Dodgers are better than both the Brewers and Cubs. I've spent a lot of time over the last week talking about the Brewers and Cubs series. I'm incredibly intrigued by this series and by Game 5 of all. Tomorrow's a great sports day. Tomorrow's a fantastic sports day. We'll talk more about all the things that are coming up, but of everything that's going on, you've got college football, you've got hockey, you've got the baseball playoffs, you've got everything. Of everything that's going on tomorrow, honestly, the game that I am most looking forward to and most intrigued by, it's not that, because I don't really have so much of a rooting interest in it. I want Missouri to beat Alabama. I want Illinois to beat Ohio State. I want the Blues to win tomorrow in Calgary. Like, I have a strong rooting interest in those games. The Brewers-Cubs game, it's not about having a rooting interest in that game. It's about just watching a really compelling storyline of a series come to an end. I always say that when you get into broadcasting, when you do what I do for a living, what you really want to do is you want to tell stories. And that's what we're at the root of everything that we do. It's telling stories. When we're talking about this situation from the Phillies game last night, it's telling the story of that game and about the emotional impact that mistake had on a pitcher. Like, that's what's fun about this job. It's all the stories that go along with it, and the storyline, the narrative that goes along with the Brewers Cubs series is just incredible. It is just absolutely incredible, and it has been it's been fun to watch. Even the not so good stories, talking about the Blues and their very slow start to the season last night. I mentioned when I opened up the show today, I thought Lynn Worthy wrote a fantastic column that ran in the Post-Dispatch and at STL Today, where he made the point, and it's something that had been repeated to us over and over and over and over and over again during training camp for the Blues, that this is a new season. This isn't just a continuation of last season. This isn't just, okay, the Blues had a great finish to the year last year, especially winning all those games at home. This wasn't just a pick up where you left off. It's a brand new season. And that can be repeated to us as many times as it needs to be, but it's still, in many ways, it felt like the start of this season was going to kind of be a continuation of last year. That's how I think a lot of people felt that way. And then you see the way things play out last night for the Blues, and I'm not worried about it. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. There's no concern from me on what the Blues are going to be this season. I think they're going to be very good. And the grand scheme of things, last night, them losing in one-sided fashion at home on the home opener, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. But that's the extent of it. There's no wide-ranging implications to the fact that they lost the way that they did lose last night. And we'll see what they can do tomorrow afternoon. And I saw that Montgomery said that he's hoping that his team comes in with, scowls on their face and they're unhappy about the way things went on opening night. And that's great. They should. You should never be happy when you lose. You should never be happy when you get beat by a wide margin, especially on your home ice and on a special night like you have on opening night, all those things. That's not what you want to have happen. That being said, it's one game. You move forward and everything's going to be okay. Keeping you up to date, by the way, on the baseball postseason, the Tigers and the Mariners are matched up right now, and they are going to the bottom of the first inning scoreless. The Tigers did not score in the top of the first, and now the Mariners are going to come to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. With Skubal on the mound, the Tigers are actually favored in this game. Very rare situation where you have a best-of-5 series in a Game 5, and the home team is not the favored team, but when you've got one of the 2 or 3 best pitchers walking the face of the earth, that's what you get if you're the Tigers. I feel like the Mariners are going to win this game. If I had to, I'm not like overly convinced if the Tigers end up winning. I'm not going to be shocked by that. But if I would have had to make a pick for this game, I would have felt like it's likely to be the Mariners, even with Skubal going for the Tigers. But I love these winner-take-all games. I love the decisive games. Game 5 in this round. We've got one on the American League side. We've got one on the National League side. It's been a really fun MLB playoffs, and it is continuing tonight with the Tigers-Mariners game that's already underway, and then it will continue tomorrow. By the way, on tomorrow's game, I just saw this a little while ago. Neither manager, neither Craig Counsell for the Cubs or Pat Murphy for the Brewers are announcing their starting pitchers for tomorrow. And it sounds like it's going to be a bullpen game for the Brewers, which is not a shocker. They have Jose Quintana ready to go, but it sounds like they are going to not use Quintana and that they would instead go the bullpen game route. And it also sounds like the Cubs might be going the bullpen game route as well. I think Shota Imanaga would be on standard rest. He would be available, but all reports are that they're not going to go with Imanaga in this game. And he's really struggled so far in the postseason. So this is kind of wild that you've got a Game 5. Each team is off today. Each team's pitching is in perfectly good shape. And you're probably going to have each team going to the bullpen game in a winner take all. Just another really compelling part of the story that is the Cubs and the Brewers coming up tomorrow in Milwaukee. All right, we talked about a bunch of different things in that segment. We'll focus back in. We'll talk Illini football. They've got a great opportunity in their game that's going to be coming up tomorrow as they welcome in number 1 Ohio State. When we return, we are going to talk with Jeremy Werner from the Illini Inquirer. He's going to join us in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. You are locked to a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the huge savings.
Big news! Golden Oak is now your one-stop shop with Golden Oak Premier Realty and Golden Oak Lending. Buy, sell, or refinance and save thousands.
Golden Oak Lending, short my blues.
NMLS 114937.
1120 AM, 1041 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
It's a Great Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley, taking you until 8 o'clock this evening. There's a handful of big games in college football tomorrow, and one of them going to be happening just down the road in Champaign as the number 17 Fighting Illini have a great opportunity in front of them. They match up against number 1 Ohio State. And to preview that, we'll find out if the Fighting Illini have a shot tomorrow. Let's welcome in right now from the Illini Inquirer, which is part of the 24/7 Sports Network. It is Jeremy Warner. You follow him on Twitter at jwarner247, 24/7. Jeremy, thanks for taking some time. How are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's just start with the big question. Does Illinois have a chance against Ohio State tomorrow?
Sure, they have a chance. They're the number 17 ranked team in the country. They're a good team. Are they a great team? That remains to be seen. They certainly weren't at Indiana, their first opportunity. They're clearly not as talented as Ohio State, right? I mean, Ohio State is full of 4 and 5 stars. They have dozens of NFL future draft picks on their roster. Their defensive line is all 4 and 5 star prospects. Their quarterback's a former 5-star prospect. They have one of the best wide receiver prospects we've ever seen in Jeremiah Smith. So yeah, this is a huge task. Illinois is, 14, 15-point underdogs for a reason. You probably could up that number, in my opinion, just based on how well Ohio State has played. Plus, they're really well coached. I mean, I give Ryan Day a lot of credit. They've experienced a lot of turnover this offseason. Both coordinators, their quarterback, 14 NFL draft picks, and they just picked up where they left off. So, yeah, this is a monumental task. Does Illinois have a chance? Yes, but they have to play their best game that they have played, and they have not played a complete game yet. And they need Ohio State to make some mistakes. So it's a long shot, but it's a huge opportunity for this program. There's really nothing to lose and everything to gain for this program, both when it comes to this season and the future of the program under Brett Bielema. So I think Illinois is going to come out loose because of that, and we'll see if they can put on any pressure on Ohio State that really hasn't felt a lot of that outside of the Texas game. So great opportunity. We'll see how they come out. They got to get a strong start to even have a chance, obviously.
How key is just this, because they went to Indiana and they lost that game in very one-sided fashion. They didn't put up their best performance for sure against Indiana. You would think that those two teams play again, it'd be a little bit tighter, but now they get a really good team at home. What just the impact of being at home, playing in front of their own fans, how much of an impact can that have and maybe help them out a little bit?
Yeah, the difference of playing at home now for Illinois is they actually have a home field advantage. Brett Bielema was talked about when he got here. There wasn't. I mean, it was really 30-something thousand fans in his first year under Lovie Smith. There were some games where the turnstiles were 12,000 fans. I mean, it was a morgue here in certain games. So they really didn't put any pressure on opponents. So, Ohio State has been to Washington. That's a great road environment, and they played extremely well there. So I don't think they'll be terrified by it, but I do think there's going to be a lot of energy at the start of that game. And can Illinois use that? They did it great against the USC game, which was right after Indiana, right? They came out, played well right off the bat, built a lot of confidence, and that carried the day. So home field advantage is there, but Ohio State can silence that pretty quickly if Illinois doesn't execute early in the game. But if you do, then you put some pressure on Ohio State. You put some pressure on a quarterback in Julian Sayin, who's been really impressive so far this year, but this is still his first year as a starter. Illinois is the first or second best team Ohio State has played, along with probably Texas, even though Texas's offense isn't very good. So, and you have a quarterback who's made a lot of plays. So I think it's really important for them to get off to a good start. But this is a different crowd. Brett Bielema has kind of awoken the sleeping giant here for Illinois with this passionate fan base. Chicago, Indy, St. Louis, so close. It's one of the biggest alumni bases in the Big Ten. And those fans are showing up. So, if you give them a reason to believe in that first quarter, I think that can carry you for the first half.
I was going to ask you about the quarterbacks, because we always do the thing where we compare quarterbacks. They don't actually play against each other. They're on the field at different times. But I think it's fun to look at in this one because you do have a young guy at Ohio State who's really, really good and has put up big numbers, but again, is fairly young. And then you got Altmaier, who is the veteran guy. When you look at these two individuals and their profiles being so different, who's got the advantage there?
Well, I think Sayin's got the advantage because he has the talent around him, right? His offensive line has protected him really well. Ohio State's run game isn't great, but it's been more consistent than Illinois', and he has the best receiving crew in the country. Jeremiah Smith's probably going to be, if not the number one pick in 2027, the number 2 and number 3 pick based on the quarterbacks. And then Carnell Tate's probably a first-round draft pick, a Chicago kid that is unbelievable. Max Clare is going to be potentially a top 50 NFL draft pick, and you just go up and down the line. He's got a lot around him. Luke Altmaier is not barren of people around him. Hank Beatty's turned into a star. He's turned into a guy who could be an all-purpose All-American in that role. He's an all-Big Ten receiver. Colin Dixon has really emerged. They got a good group of running backs, but the offensive line has been inconsistent. It's a veteran group, but they've just been a little bit inconsistent. They're starting to put it together a little bit. But Altmaier, if you get this game in the fourth quarter, I'll side with Altmaier because that's where he has been unbelievable. But can you get it to the fourth quarter? Altmaier's been one of the clutchest quarterbacks in the country. He's led 6 comebacks in the last couple minutes in overtime over the last 2 years. Illinois is 6-1 in one-score games, mostly because of what Altmaier has done. So you got to give him that chance. You got to protect him. You got to run the ball. You got to be able to control the clock a little bit in this game to limit Ohio State's possessions. Those are all big ifs, right, against this kind of Ohio State team. Julian Sayin's really good. I mean, he's a 5-star prospect for a reason. He's incredibly accurate. He's incredibly poised. Reminds me a lot of how Tommy DeVito was for Illinois, only saying a redshirt freshman, and Tommy DeVito was a sixth-year senior that year. So I think I'm very high on him. He's a great point guard for what they do, but Altmaier certainly has the advantage and experience. Just got to give him a chance in the fourth quarter.
You mentioned Hank Beatty, and he had a huge game last week against Purdue. Altmaier throwing for 390 yards, and 186 of it went to him. Do you suspect that from an Ohio State standpoint, they're keen in defensively on that Altmaier to Beatty connection? Is that their number one key to try to slow down Illinois?
I think their number one key is make sure they don't run the ball and rush the passer, because Illinois has really struggled to handle pressure. And when they get in the third and long, they've been not able to handle it, whether it's the offensive line, communicating, the tight ends and running backs blocking, or Luke Altmaier just making some quick decisions to get the ball out. So that's been really difficult for Illinois. So I think if Ohio State forces Illinois into third and longs, they can really feast. I mean, Arbel Reese is kind of a Micah Parsons type prospect. They kind of line him up everywhere on the defense. Their defensive line is full of NFL guys. Someone's got to have some first down success, get the ball out quickly, get it to your running backs, get it to your tight ends, get it to Beatty, Dixon on some screen passes, and then be able to run the ball a little bit. Maybe it's not a dominant performance, but just to get Luke Altmaier in some of those third and shorts so you can prolong these drives, have some better chances. But yeah, Beatty's a great player, but Ohio State's got pretty good players guarding him too. So I don't know if they're going to key too much. I think they just want to put as much pressure as possible on Luke Altmaier so that he can't pick them apart.
Last thing for you, we're talking with Jeremy Warner from the Illini Inquirer. You look at the schedule the rest of the way, and right now, none of the remaining opponents are ranked for Illinois. And if they end up losing this game and they're a two-loss Big Ten team, you feel like there's a pathway to the college football playoff, that's not an impossibility. Is there some importance, even if they can't win this game against Ohio State, just because you're not going to have a lot of great opportunities to really impress against great teams the rest of the way? Is there just importance to this game in kind of showing who you are, even if it's not a win?
Absolutely. Illinois has to show after that 53-point loss at Indiana that it can compete with one of the best teams in the country. Because even if you go 10-2 and you have a win against a USC team that I think is going to be ranked at the end of the year, a win against Duke that I think that win is going to age well. It already is aging well. And a win at Washington. I think Washington's a good team, and I think they could be receiving votes. You know, I'm not chalking that one up for a win for Illinois yet. So, but if you do win out after this, and I think they'll be favored in 4 of their final 5 games, then yes, you need to show you can make this a 4-quarter game, be in the hunt, kind of like they were last year at Penn State. It was 14-7 with 5 minutes left. You know, Illinois didn't play all that well. Penn State kind of dominated that game, but they kind of hung around and had a chance to win. I didn't think that was a bad loss in Happy Valley. But in this game, yeah, you got to make it close. You got to show that you can compete and have a chance. Because if you lose by 30 points, even if you go 10-2 and have some good wins like USC and Washington and Duke, I don't know how the committee sits there and goes, yeah, we're going to put this team in and they're going to have a chance. They wouldn't have showed that against 2 playoff caliber teams in Ohio State and Indiana. So yes, I do feel it's really important for Illinois to show they can be competitive.
He is Jeremy Warner. You can he's publisher of the Illini Inquirer, IlliniInquirer.com. That's part of the 24/7 Sports Network. So if you subscribe, you get all the access to 24/7 Sports when it comes to recruiting and all the various team sites. 24/7 Sports, the absolute best when it comes to that. So you get a lot for that subscription. Really appreciate you taking some time. Hopefully it's a good one tomorrow, and we look forward to talking to you again down the line.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Very good. That's Jeremy Warner joining us on the program. We appreciate him spending a few moments with us. It's going to be a fun day tomorrow on college football. I know people in this area are bummed out by the fact that both Illinois and Missouri are kicking off at the exact same time. Missouri is going to be an 11 a.m. kickoff, and Illinois is going to be an 11 a.m. kickoff as well. You'd like it if those games were staggered a little bit. Those are the 2 of the 3 big games in college football, the other being Indiana and Oregon. That game is going to kick at 2:30 tomorrow. So that's the game that comes up afterwards. Those are your 3 games that are involving 2 top 25 teams playing against each other, but it should be a pretty good day. There's some other interesting games, even if not both teams are in the top 25. We're going to take a break, and when we return, we are going to hear from Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, his weekly conversation, courtesy of 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City. That's up next here on KMOX.
It's the most inspiring night in sports, the Musial Awards at Stiefel Theater. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event from St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the Musial Awards celebrate those who uplift us through their extraordinary sportsmanship. Experience the remarkable moments and people that make this an event like no other. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University, Saturday, November 22nd. Tickets at musialawards.com.
When we started Neoviten back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neoviten Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neoviten Original Formula multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neoviten.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, Glover here. It's October, and this is when the weather really starts to shift. The mornings are crisp, the evenings are cool. Before long, those chilly fall breezes will turn into full-blown winter winds. Right now, buy 2 windows to get 2 free with no limit, plus enjoy 0% interest for 3 full years. And to top it off, get an extra $500 off your entire home improvement project. That's Universal Windows Direct. Give them a call at 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Think back to the holiday season last year. You're surrounded by your family. It's been months since everyone has been together like this. Everyone is talking and catching up, sharing stories and laughing, and your grandson is real quick-witted. He cracks a joke and everyone seems to laugh. But you missed it. How does that make you feel? Do you start to disengage? Do you feel disconnected from the group? I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler, and I don't want this to happen to you this holiday season. Come visit Dr. Adam Voss and me at the Audiology Center for our Here for the Holidays event happening in the month of October. We're offering free hearing screenings, free earwax removals, free consultations, and a $500 coupon towards the latest hearing aids. Call us today to make an appointment for this special event through the month of October. 636-441-7470, or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
We sell siding, windows, doors, and decking by the truckload. My name is Julius Krasanik, celebrating 53 years in this business. Our company is Wholesale Siding Depot, and our seasoned customer service group has over 200 years of combined siding, window, door, and decking knowledge. My grandson Elijah says,
Are you kidding me?
the brands that we sell are durable, maintenance-free, and energy-saving. Featuring Anderson, CertainTeed, Viwinco, Provia, Masonite, TimberTech, and others, offering the best selection of styles and colors available in this industry. And better yet, our prices are wholesale every day. Last, our Peace of Mind initiative also includes a free contractor referral service to take care of your installation concerns or needs. You are just one click away from keeping it local, family, and professional. Please visit WSDepot.com. That's WSDepot.com.
Fridays mean football. From a zoo to the NFL, we've got your weekend covered.
All three, ready?
It's Friday football on KMOX.
Welcome back in. It's Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. We have reached that time of the week where we always listen in to a conversation that Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes had with our sister station in Kansas City, 96.5 The Fan, and specifically with their afternoon host, Carrington Harrison. Always enjoy being able to listen to Mahomes talk. Obviously, from a Chiefs standpoint, it hasn't quite gone the way they would like it to go so far. They're coming off a somewhat unexpected loss to the Jaguars this past weekend, and now they've got the Sunday Nighter coming up when they take on the Detroit Lions. As they opened up the conversation, Mahomes talked a little bit about the Monday Night Countdown conversation. He was able to be alongside of Travis Kelce and their coach, Andy Reid. They were talking with Jason Kelce, Travis's brother, and just that experience of that whole group being able to be together.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, obviously, those are guys that are going to be in Canton one day, and to be able to have conversation with them, and obviously, they're all friends of mine, and so really cool just to get the insight. And obviously, the stuff on camera is awesome, but the stuff behind the scenes is even better. And so, honored to call them friends and my coach and my teammate.
I went back and looked this up. Do you remember your first Sunday Night Football game at Arrowhead? Because I completely forgot when it was. Do you remember it?
No, only one I can think of is like the Bengals one. I don't know if that was the first one, though. That was one of the early ones in my career.
That was your first. You guys won 45-10. I looked this up. You threw for 4 touchdown passes. Kareem Hunt led you guys in rushing, and Travis Kelce led you guys in receiving. This was in your first year as a starter in 2018. Kareem Hunt leading you guys in rushing, and Travis Kelce leading you guys in receiving. Some things never change.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had a good run. So, yeah, I mean, obviously that was a good night. So hopefully we can do something to replicate that. But I mean, we're going up against a great Lions team. So I think it'll be a tough challenge for us, but we're excited for it.
You talked about this before, that 3:25 is your favorite time. But what is it like to play under the lights at night at Arrowhead?
It's really cool. I mean, obviously the fans and like how loud they are and how passionate they are. But I think just the stadium and just being in the stadium and the whole environment. I mean, you can feel the history of the game. You can feel the history of the stadium. And so to be able to come out of the tunnel and be at Arrowhead, a night game, it's a thing that I'll never get tired of, and something that I'll cherish those memories later on in life.
Right now, we're talking to the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick, I feel like we were in the exact same place the last time that you guys were in a home game. You guys were 1-2. And it was the difference in being 2-2 and then 1-3. I feel like we're in the exact same place heading into this matchup against the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going up against another good football team and a game that we really need to win. And so it's going to take us just being the best that we could possibly be. I think we've done it in spurts throughout the regular season so far, but we got to be better at being consistent through an entire game from the beginning to the end. And that's what it's going to take in order to win this football game.
What is it about the Lions offense that makes them so dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of great players and they have a really good scheme. So, I mean, I think they do a great job. I mean, obviously they can run the ball, they can pass the ball. Jared's done a great job of distributing the ball to all their different playmakers. And when you have that many good players and that good of a scheme, it's hard to account for. And they've done a good job of that these last few years.
Is it frustrating for you to see the improvements and growth that you guys have had in the team, but maybe not that being reflective in the record? I think the offense has had a great transformation over the course of the season so far, but you guys sit here in 2-3. Is it frustrating to see the progress that you guys are having on a day-to-day basis, but that not being reflective in the record?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's just frustrating to lose in general. So, I mean, I think obviously all you can do is continue to get better and better. But more than that, I think obviously we've done a lot of things positively, offensively, but we got to make the winning plays. If you look at all our losses, if it's the interceptions down in the red zone or a couple plays here and there, we haven't made those winning plays offensively. And so I think that's something that we can improve on. And if we do that, I think with how we're playing offensively the rest of the way, that we can be a high-powered offense and help take pressure off our defense so they can go out there and do what they need to do.
You personally, and a lot of guys on your team, you've been through the ups and downs of a season, so I don't think that you personally are in a panic mode. How are you keeping guys kind of even keel that haven't been through the battles, haven't been through the ups and downs, that just because we're 2-3, there's still obviously a lot of time to turn this thing around?
Yeah, I mean, all you can do is focus on the day. You know, we've kind of had all types of different seasons over my tenure, but we've always figured it out at some point. And so we're going to go to work like we always do, try to keep up the intensity, get better at executing and cleaning up the penalties and the little things that we've done throughout the beginning of this year. But at the end of the day, man, we got to go out there and just execute and go out there and prove it on Sundays. And we haven't been able to make those winning plays, and we got to find a way to make those plays. And all we can do is focus on today's practice and focus on this week against the Lions.
Right now, we're talking to the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick, let's go back to the Monday night game. Can you take us through the interception? Can you take us through what you saw? Can you take us through the play?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were in that kind of a cover zero type look, and we had after just film and stuff like that, when they gotten inside that 5-10 yard area, they haven't shown what we call poppers, where guys blitz and then they pop back out. And that's something that they did more in the field. And so we were alert for that in the field. But obviously I got to the check that I believe was going to be the right play. And even though that I hadn't seen it on film, I got to still see the throw before I throw it. So I got to the check and we got Juju wide open. And we thought they might do what they did, which is two guys take one of our receivers. You got to still see the guy in front of Juju and try to progress to the next route. So obviously can't make that mistake in that type of game. And then after that, got to find a way to get them down on a tackle or slow them down for my teammates to get there and make that tackle, because that was a 14-point swing, and it obviously was costly, and it kind of cost us the game.
I was going to ask you about that tackle. What are you advised to do in this situation? Obviously, you're a very important player. No one wants you to get injured on that play. Are you trying to bring him down? Are you trying to slow him down, push him out of bounds? Like, what's your thought process when that's happening?
No, I mean, I've never been advised anything else other than get the guy down. I mean, I'm a football player at the end of the day, and I made the mistake, so I got to find a way to make the tackle. And he got me with a good move, and I wasn't able to get anything on him to slow him down enough for the other guys to get there. But when you're kind of in that quarterback position on interceptions, it's kind of like playing safety. You're kind of the last line of defense, and if you don't make the play, you got to at least slow them down for others to get there to make the play.
Patrick, I don't feel like a lot of people are going to reference this, and I get it. You guys lost the game, but the drive that you guys put together for your last offensive drive where you got a complete, set of time, that was like a really good drive. What do you think made that drive so successful?
Yeah, I think guys just accepted the challenge. We've been in those situations before, but it was good to see guys accept the challenge of kind of dealing with some of the adversity that we had dealt with the interceptions and the kind of the stalling out drives that we had in that second half, and guys to step up and say we need a touchdown. Let's go get a touchdown. And we did a great job. The offensive line did a great job protecting in that situation. The guys got open down the field, and then we didn't hurt ourselves with penalties or anything like that. So that showcases what we can be, but we got to do that more consistently throughout an entire game.
I feel like watching a lot of these shows that you've been featured in, I've seen you train. I know the kind of work that you put in. And when you had that run where you get away from the defense, I felt like I had that one Leonardo DiCaprio gift. Like, ooh, I've seen him work on that before.
Yeah, no, I prepared for this stuff. And I know I might not be like the number one rusher or anything like that, but I always prepare myself that I can get out of trouble if I need to. And whenever it's called for, I try to use my legs and use my mobility to go out there and make things happen.
Talking to Patrick Mahomes here for a couple more minutes. Patrick, what do you make of the AFC right now and the amount of parity that appears to exist? Also in the division, this feels like you guys are in the middle of a very difficult race with three teams that could possibly win this thing.
Yeah, I think the AFC just in general, really in the NFL just in general. I mean, there's so much parity, and Coach Reed says it like every year, but he's been huge on it. And all these games come down to one-score games for the most part, and it's about who can execute at the higher level and win those games. And we've done a good job of doing that throughout my career here, but we haven't done that this year, and that's the difference of being in a place that you want to be in and then being in a place where you don't want to be. And so we got to be better at these one-score games, finding ways to win the game. And that comes with execution, and we got to continue to get better and better at that sooner rather than later.
You and I haven't really got a chance to talk about it. Your thoughts on the kickoff rule? Are you a fan of it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you make of the new kickoff rules?
I mean, it just is what it is. I'm not really partial either way. I'm just kind of play the game, and however the rules are presented. The rules are always changing a little bit here and there, and they're trying to make football the safest they can be, but also keep the integrity of the game, and I just play it with whatever the rules are when I show up that season. Yeah,
I was just curious, I guess, how it affects offenses because, one mistake, the ball can be on the 40-yard line, and just starting the ball on the 40-yard line is just such a tremendous advantage. I was just curious from an offensive perspective, how do you guys attack it with field position being so different this year?
Yeah, I mean, I just play with wherever we end up at. I think it makes special teams important. I think that's more important than maybe these last few years with the kickoffs kind of going through the back of the end zone. So I think it makes you have to execute high on special teams, and I feel like we have one of the best special teams out there, and I'm sure they're going to clean some stuff up from this last week. But overall, I feel like it's an advantage for us as far as the kickoffs and the returners that we have and the coaches that we have that we can use that to our advantage. We just got to be better than we were this last week.
Last two things here, as you guys begin a new week, as you guys begin a practice week, what's your mindset going into a very important home game for you guys and a very important home stretch with 3 straight home games?
Yeah, I mean, it's time to go. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, we've gotten 3 losses now, and like you said, it's a very tight, contested division and AFC, and so There's no more waiting around. We're playing a really good football team this week that plays extremely hard, and we know it's going to be a great challenge, but we got to match the intensity. We got to match the opportunity and go out there and find a way to win the football game no matter what it takes.
I'll get you out of here with this last question. One of the big talking points on the show from fans yesterday was about Chris Jones on the final defensive play of the game. I'm curious, just as one of the leaders and he also being one of the leaders on the team, how do you guys talk about accountability? How do you guys hold each other accountable in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, I believe in Chris Jones no matter what, man. He's done so much for this team and for this organization, being a leader, and I think people don't even understand how much of a leader he is on this team. But he's a guy that's kind of made us go throughout my career, and I know in big moments he's going to make big plays. And so people always look back and see stuff after losses and stuff like that, and they judge that stuff, but I judge the guy and the character he brings into the building every single day.
That is the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, joining us on the show today. They are on Sunday Night Football this week against the Detroit Lions. Patrick, man, really appreciate your time. Catch up with you next week.
Yeah, appreciate you.
That is Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes talking on our sister station, 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City, with host Carrington Harrison. We always appreciate them providing that interview for us. We do have Chiefs football coming up on Sunday night. They are going to take on the Detroit Lions, and you'll be able to hear coverage right here on St. Louis's home for Chiefs football, KMOX. One more break. We'll come back, and we'll wrap up this edition of the program. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KMOX proudly supports the Mutual Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Mutual Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Save big money on your next project at Menards. For over 65 years, Menards has been the destination for post-frame buildings. They go up fast and are a durable, low-maintenance solution for additional storage space, work area, or to protect your equipment. Design a building to fit your needs using our free design program. In-store or on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Back at it for just a few minutes here on KMOX, wrapping up this edition of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Thanks to everybody who joined us on the program as we get set for this is going to be an awesome sports weekend, specifically an awesome sports Saturday. When you think about the various college football games that are going to be going on Saturday, we talked a lot about them on the show today. The Missouri-Alabama game, and then the Illinois-Ohio State game. Lots of excitement about that. You also have Oregon in action against Indiana. So I think those, when you look at the entire selection of games that are going to be going on this weekend, those are probably the games that most jump out at me. But those, especially with Indiana's kind of local. They're not too terribly far down the road, and it seems like a lot of us here at KMOX kind of have a fond place in our heart for Indiana because of Tom Ackerman and how much he certainly loves them, having gone to school there. But yeah, I mean, from a local standpoint, you have Missouri and Alabama, you have Illinois and Ohio State, and a lot of excitement around those games. Even some of the other games, not a lot of other action involving two top 25 teams, but Texas, Oklahoma, that always has something to it for sure. Just, to be cliche, that's one of those where you kind of throw the records out. But yeah, those three games with amongst teams, ranked teams going against each other, Indiana, Oregon, Alabama, Missouri, Illinois, Ohio State. Looks awesome. So those are Ohio State, Illinois kicks off at 11. Missouri, Alabama will kick off at 11. And then the Indiana, Oregon game is going to be a 2:30 start. When it comes to the St. Louis Blues, they're playing their second game of the year on Saturday. That's going to be a 3 o'clock puck drop as they match up against Calgary on the road. So that takes care of the middle part of your day. You got college football with Missouri and Illinois playing in the first part of the day in the 11 o'clock window. Then those get over. You can still watch college football, or you can think hockey, and you can go to Blues and Flames. And then the day is going to wrap up with what I think is, from my perspective, I think a lot of baseball fans in St. Louis feel the same way. Man, this, and I know we talked about it a little bit during the show today, but this Cubs-Brewers game, just the implications of this, from a theater standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, from a storyline standpoint, this is fantastic. With the Brewers having won the first two games, Cubs come back, win 2 in a row. They're going back to Milwaukee. You've got the Craig Counsell factor. You've got the fact that the Brewers have certainly struggled in the playoffs here in recent years. The two cities separated by an hour and a half or so. There's going to be a lot of Cubs fans in the house at American Family Field in Milwaukee on Saturday night. So that's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. So there's your sports day on Saturday. What a great sports day on Saturday. It's not just all college football all day long or anything like that. You're going to be able to really enjoy some football, some hockey, and some baseball, and call it a day. And it's going to be fun to enjoy that. So hopefully you're able to partake in at least some of that coming up tomorrow. Again, that is it for the program today. Thanks so much for being tuned in. Indeed, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you again coming up on Monday right here on KMOX.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites